they're gonna have to fight a bit more for that intel. It might not have as easy a pathway as aggression.
Yeah, definitely to see how they play this out and whether or not, like, yeah, taking off that Valkyrie is going to play it. I'm interested to see a Homeland if they're going to supplement, Valkyrie with an Echo or something like that, or some other kind of intel, or maybe just bulletproofs. We'll see what happens here as you start out. And we're going to Aviator Games first, AVG for our first defense, and Alibi being brought out, and probably for the shield, I'm assuming.
I would assume so. That's a big reason why Alibi has been brought. Of course, you are able to roam with her as well, so that is also a factor. But bringing that shield, Smoke has fallen out of favor a little bit. He was the default shield op for quite a long time. So aided with the Goyo as well. That's 3 shields total. So you don't have the inconsistency and the newness of the toxic canisters that a lot of players have been experiencing. A lot of Smoke players specifically. So overall for Homeland, I think it's a fairly strong setup. You have those deployable shields, and since Tex's gadget is those primary shields, you can bring something in the background. Not a C4 instead, just like the prox alarms. That is not a gadget we see all too often, and especially because of how strong a C4 is, and the fact that there's none on the side of Homeland. I'm very curious to see how the setup goes. We don't often see this site ran without a
C4.
C4.
It kind of indicates they're going to roam too, because they usually go
True.
below and they can C4. Though I will say C4 is also really strong in the in the trying to deny a plant too. So I will say it is a bit weird, but hey, we don't know exactly what's going on in their mind. They probably have a plan in mind for those proximity alarms. Definitely interested to see what that plan is and whether or not it happens. But yeah, Alibi I think is I love Alibi's gun. That makes 4 Storm is fantastic. Such a great gun. Oh, there's the shields being brought out to hold up that main stairs. They got 1 on the landing and 1 on top before study. So if it looks like they're trying to hold this south section for as long as possible. And there are also players, Strona on their own. She's by herself right over by Statuary.
As appear that the push as well from Mirage is coming over from that northeastern side. As you said, though, Mai just chilling inside of Statuary right now, not taking as aggressive an angle as we've seen from some players, but with that wall open, a direct pathway into Closet, going to be a bit risky the longer she decides to play here. Drones coming in as well, so they know the Wamai's position, but they have barricaded that door. So if somebody tries to break it down, of course, there's that sound cue, and one of the main options right now is to try and clear her out from this hole. She's not alone, though. There's the Aruni playing all the way back inside of Trophy, but Cavi just moves on in. Opening pick goes the favor of Mirage. The Wamai falls, and that Aruni's rotated back. A minute in, Rome already cleared. Aruni running back with her tail between her legs. Good start from Mirage.
Unfortunate for Homeland, they'll lose the opening pick. Shona will go down, and yes, at this point, Snow has to make her way back to site and really, alert her team that looks to be a north to south push. Take control, and they're probably gonna go for 90 next. That'll be the biggest point. Or if they try to go for through Skull Door, maybe go plant behind Vault Door, because there's not a lot of denial. Everybody don't know that though, because they maybe think Tex has a C4 in her pocket. But either way, let's see what the plan is from Mirage. Looks like they are looking to take 90 next. Drone's coming through. Monster Girl's looking through. Is there a drone here? And then Tex reconfiguring her gadgetry to make sure that she can watch over towards 90. They can have some kind of advantage in these peaks against all of Mirage. And some cut shots going to Cavi. Cavi takes a bit of damage from MX4 Storm, but MX4 Storm, unfortunately, is a bit of a pea shooter, so not much damage done to Cavi in that regard.
Doesn't have a lot of recoil, but doesn't have a lot of damage either. So good play by Dire, trying to just pepper some shots. And so far, Mirage have started to stall a little bit. Not anything concerning, just moving into 90. While they do still have to deal with Tex, they have a fair bit of time to try and open that vault wall. There's also no hard breach now on the side of Homeland, so they don't have to worry about sending a nade on over. They're just able to open up those X-Kairos momentarily. Monster Girl sends a flash grenade on down to try and burn those ADSs to clear that shield. Tex moves to 50 HP from a player playing on Zombie Doorway, and now 20 seconds in, Mirage went from stalling out a little bit to being in a prime spot to complete this execute. Glean trying to find and bait out any picks. Knows one's behind Longbar, not able to land the shots, but it's still intel that they know one of the defenders' positions. This angle inside of Vault also crucial. Not a crucial flank from Kisho. Unfortunately, she falls. Tex soon after, Glean with 2. It's just Dire with the P shooter in a 1v5. She'll pick up 1, but then Victoria cleans it up. Overall, a strong round for Mirage that seemed a bit slow at the start, but quickly heated up towards the end.
It was a great start. They were able to roam clear very quickly, get that first opening pick in their favor, push off the other defender, and then it was a bit slow, but I think being slow there was a good pick, though, because at the point they were figuring out what they're going to do next, droning out the enemy and making sure that they don't walk into any traps. They got that vault open to, cut off rotations from the side of Homeland at that point. And they would also get the pick onto the the flanker of Kisho as well. So I think at that point, Mirage, just even though they did a bit slow down, maybe a bit time was a bit close there, they still did a good job of figuring out what to do on that last end round plan there.
Now Homeland moving back to Back to Aviator Games. Overall, from the operator lineup, not too many changes. In fact, no changes whatsoever. It's the exact same setup. But overall, it wasn't exactly terrible. A lot of it came down to the very end of Homeland trying to take some gunfights and losing them. But if they do want to look at a place to make adjustments, it would be that roam over inside a trophy and statuary. Trona was pretty exposed in her position, and the moment the attackers, even though they had that barricade on concrete, once the attacker started moving in, there wasn't much she could really do to defend herself, and there wasn't much Snow could do to go for the refrag because of the sheer number of attackers that were pushing from bathroom, from closet, and master bedroom. So I think maybe playing a little bit less aggressive from Strona would be better in the long run because you do have those magnets and those impact tricks as well. If they opt to go for hard breaching, you have a lot of it at your disposal to slow them down. Just a matter of not giving up your life as early.
Yeah, I was wondering how Cavi got the kill. Did Cavi just walk in and just, take a fight? And that was how they got that first pick. Didn't see it exactly, but I would say I do agree with you, maybe being a bit less aggressive and just being waiting for them to push in. I do agree, maybe even full reinforcing the wall, maybe even late reinforcing, just to even get a pick. If you can get like an early pick from someone unaware and then reinforce later on. But looks like they full reinforce that tri wall and they're both playing Statuary and Trophy like last time. So we have Strona and Snow once again. They'll be playing together on this roam, and yeah, this is full reinforces time, so I'm interested to see exactly. They haven't opened the top of the wall though, so actually no, there is a bit of a hole there. So it looks like at this point Sean is looking to maybe impact trick something, but Tabby's here looking around. There's a hole there. I'm not sure if that was made on purpose or not, but they're starting to dry peek left and right, look for anybody they can find, and really nobody's in Astro. Sean is already pushed off, and so is Snow. So that was actually that full retreat within the first minute or so, just to maybe waste more time.
They still have wasted an entire minute for the attack, and even though they did give it up a bit early in the grand scheme of the round, the fact that they all five are actually I wouldn't even say they rotated off. You wasted a minute. Everyone's still alive on the side of Homeland. I'd call that a win in my book. Plus, you still have the Wamai to start generating magnets, throwing them up, likely to aid the shields on main stairs if anybody from Mirage decides to rotate over. This is looking like a much stronger defense. We already saw how Mirage started to stall out towards the end. It came down to getting those picks and managing to find and win those gunfights inside of the site. But if Homeland have all five of these members able to have all the utility at their disposal, if Mirage don't pick up their attack, something that they have shown to be proficient at, this is certainly a winnable round from Homeland.
You definitely just see of how well they can defend 90. Last time they didn't really use 92 well, but they're still able to get kills off. It was the big thing for Mirage. So, and also this flank last time, and the flank again, Snow getting heavy damage from Galeen. Galeen's trying to finish off that kill, but she'll be unable to. And Snow will live for the moment, but that still is no C4. This is actually C4 in Tech's hand. So that's the one real kind of indirect way of denying a plan here for the side of Homeland. And they gotta figure it out. Snow's gonna probably back off and go back to site. Kisho's in a good position trying to deny the entry into Snow or from Skuldor into site, but really they still have to deal with that laser gate on the wall. I'm assuming at this point they'll probably get rid of it coming up as the execute should happen soon.
I think also that rotate by text on the proximity alarms to a C4, that is huge because look at Mirage right now. They're taking the same pace. They're getting open vault wall, and I think even a little bit later than they did last time. So now with that in mind, everyone on Homeland still in the site. Tex might lose her life. It's same with Snow with how low HP they're on, but you could just say the same about Mirage. Both Cavi and Galeen down to 25 HP or below. Kisho also not going for the flank means she can support the defense inside of Study. While the opening pick still goes the way of Mirage, it is not out of the possibility yet for Homeland to win this. Dyer goes down. Monster Girl getting the plant. This is a prime time for Texas C4. It gets ripped and she's caught off on the coverage. Kisho at the very least picks up one, but it's Mirage to pick up the second round. Once again, it came down to Mirage able to win those gunfights in the final 15 seconds, and the coverage for the planter was fantastic in getting those final 4 kills.
I'd still love the adaptation there from the side of Homeland, though. You could see it in the end there, like they were trying to waste as much time as possible. They had, trying to keep that shield in 90 hold, and there's actually holes made before that vault door, so Snow below could shoot those X-Kairos pellets from below, which is just making it more difficult to deny the rotation through vault. So even though they unfortunately lost all the fights, I still love Homeland, still trying to adapt, still trying to figure out Mirage's playstyle and trying to play against them in the end.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing I will say about Homeland so far in these past couple rounds. While they have not managed to go their favor, they look infinitely stronger than their rounds against Disrupt last week. So far today, Homeland has been able to actively hold against the aggression from Mirage, and it does come down to those final 20-15 seconds as the bomb is going down. That's farther in many cases than they made it against Disrupt. You'd have a player like Lioness push up, get 1 or 2 kills. Same with Maddox on the Nomad a couple weeks ago, and they just didn't really seem to stand a chance. Homeland here, they are looking much, much stronger. And moving to a site like Kitchen that also focuses on this roam, I'm eager to see what they can do with an actual concentrated setup. They had some reinforcements here last time, but it was clear that once they wasted a minute, Homeland were content to rotate off and support their players on the site. But you can't do that on a site like Kitchen. Of course, you can rotate back, but you're normally going to devote much more resources up here and try to hold on to it much more because that ceiling is directly above the site. It's fully destructible. And since they're also bringing a castle, it's clear at the very least they're wanting to extend and devote quite a bit of utility and likely time to it as well.
Yep. As the one thing Homeland's trying to do is waste as much time as possible. They're trying to go for that real, that utility approach of just wasting as much time as possible for the team, making it difficult for the attacking team to get in and create, get into that site. But I see that Mirage is going maybe for a rush here. Mirage is already inside a pantry, coming up the stairs. I don't know exactly if Homeland is aware of this. And this wall is soft. Pantry, that single wall going into sight, opened up by the Ash of Cavi. So at this point, they have a long angle into sight. And I wonder at this point, is Homeland, how are they going to respond to this? There's 2 players on site. There's 3 upstairs. Cavi's, I don't know what exactly the drone game is here. It looks like there is also, a mute on the board, so they can't exactly drone sight. And so far, Kiso takes a bit of damage. Kiso understands that they're pushing this way, and Dire unfortunately goes down in an attempt to flank. Kisha gets killed as well as Monster Girl is holding the flank there for Mirage. And at this point, it's not looking good for Homeland having a man down. Man gets picked up, or Dire gets picked up. She was recovered, so the man advantage still looking good. No, attacks with a great angle onto Tabio, take him down, and it's 4v4 and it's slowed down from Mirage.
It looks like they were preparing for that rush, but rotating back, they took down Kisho, down Dire, while they're not able to finish the Maestro off. It's showing this solid roam clear from Mirage, able to adapt, anticipate Kisho, at the very least see her moving into that position, but they have not given up on this pantry rush just yet. Both Victoria and Cavi are making their way up that stairwell, and one of the main players to go against them is Dire, who, while she has an Alda, is only on 1 HP. She's aided by Snow inside of Kitchen, but Mirage have plenty of time to go for this intel. They've opted to ignore the roam upstairs, which, depending on where they push, could be a boon, but you can see the 2 players down below Strona. This could be a curse as well. Galeen finishes off Tex. That's a C4 off the board, and quickly things are slowly whittling down in terms of the man count and the control for Homeland. Nova, Dire will finally pick out one, but quickly traded by the Zofia. Galeen picks up her 3rd kill of the round, and it's just Strona, the Aruni upstairs, left in a 1v2. She's broken the hatch. They know that she's likely inside a pantry. You can see one of the players peering on down towards. She'll fire some shots, or both will. Neither land, but the bomb goes down nonetheless. Both players on Mirage are low HP, one on 1 health and the other on 50. This is not unwinnable, even with the Roni. If Strona is able to land her shots, this might be Homeland's very first round. A Z-ping as well, indicating the position of, I believe that's Galeen through the wall. That's the one with the majority of HP. She's able to land a pre-fire. This could be huge, but the time is going down. Yoruni is running out of time to try to make this work. Z-ping once again, that's where you need to push. She'll continue looking forwards, but only 3 seconds left. She'll start to push from behind, caught on the rotate as well. We've reached the point. The round has now slipped from her fingers, just as her life has slipped from her hands as well. Mirage move up 3 rounds in a row.
Mirage there attempting to rush a pantry, but even if it wasn't a rush, the fact that they were able to cause Homeland to, panic a little bit and rotate early was huge for them. You see Keisha going for a flank. You saw another plane going on a flank too. There were 2 members from Homeland that were attempting to, try and find out where these Mirage players are at. Maybe not enough info. Then unfortunately, they walk right into the hands of Mirage, and they give them the kills that Mirage needs to get the control of sight and go for that plan. So unfortunate for Homeland, as they were just caught off guard by, maybe a bit of aggression from Mirage you wouldn't expect.
That's that characteristic Mirage play. We saw it on Villa. It was one of the reasons it was as close as it was. Remember, Mirage took the lead. It was SH who had to play catch up, and in large part it was because Mirage were able to carry through that aggression. But they started losing once SH started to get wise to the plan. They started countering it, started slowing the attack down. We saw glimmers of that same playstyle from Homeland in the first 2 rounds, but it was absent in round number 3. Maybe you want to blame it on the tertiary bomb site. Maybe you want to blame it on the setup being so focused upstairs. But Homeland, I'm hoping that round is a fluke and they're not starting to regress and start losing their progress, because they were making strides compared to last week. If moving to trophy statuary, we see that same regression and moving backwards, I'm worried for their chances on this defensive half. I still don't think we're going to see the same 7-1 as last week. Homeland have at least made improvements from before, but I am reaching the point where I'm starting to get worried. If their defense looks just as weak as it did on Kitchen, they're going to be hoping for a 4-2 half at least.
Well, let's see here. It looks like they're going for a more aggressive roam, though. You see Snow making a lot of rotates here inside of games and Aviator, and they're looking to play this at this point. Maybe better just to fire and play aggressive, start taking fights with Mirage. Hard to say though. Mirage have won most of the fights mechanically, so I'm not sure how well that would go. But I would say, yeah, Homeland at this point need to make some aggression, maybe play a different game here against them. But it looks like here, yeah, you get a shotgun on the side of Snow, playing in wait as if they go for this roam clear. Dire with her as well, so there is a two-person roam here for Homeland, and there's also person. But Mirage at this point, they're looking to set up for this. People outside study, people on the balcony, as well as one on the 90 window. So how well this roam clear goes will probably spell how this round goes.
And 45 seconds in, you still have Dire and Snow playing relatively unimpeded from their positions. In fact, it's a player on Mirage take the first bit of damage. I don't think, Benny, you had that in mind when you said maybe
Nope.
Homeland should get aggressive and take the fight to them. But if we're going to take solace in anything, she came away alive, and it's Cavi to come away the loser in that. Not losing her life, but still losing about 35 HP. But here's that push. The roam clear finally coming on in. 2 Grismont mines exploding in her face, so she'll have her vision obstructed, and this is a prime time for Snow to peek. But still, she wins the fight. The drone just to the bottom right at the ankle of the Ella, spots her, gives the call, and despite Galeen moving to 1 HP and Dire moving away, it's still the opening pick in the favor of Mirage.
That is unfortunate for Homeland to lose that fight. Snow at least goes down, but at least the Dire will get out with her life, and she'll move down towards downstairs. She'll go into the living room for the moment, and it's been at least damage on the Cavi, damage on the Galeen effort. The shotgun did quite a bit of damage, but unfortunately, it was a headshot for Galeen onto the Snow. So at this point now, Homeland, what is their plan here? As they know exactly this is going to be a south and north take for Mirage. It looks like they're not really taking control of bedroom whatsoever, so there should be some solace for the side of Homeland if they can, hide in bedroom as they push in and take fights, because this is it seems to be much more one-dimensional push from Mirage. As you say that
is a massive factor. Good point.
Yeah.
I mean,
they
haven't rotated.
They all are set up here for it.
Either way, excellent
Exactly.
C4.
Exactly.
There you go. That's the exact kind of play you were hoping for, Benny. You got only one side of the push from 90. Mirage have started to rotate over, and now it's 4v4. Man count is even. You still have Victoria with her Hibana charges, but the attack has been stalled out for long enough. 3 of the 4 members are all pushing from Bora doorway. 1 is fallen. Tabby's head taken clean off. Excellent shot from the Mozzie. And Cavi's made some progress, but both her and Monster Girl, they're the ones worse for wear on the roster, and they're the ones that are trying to make this execute happen. Victoria, full health, still holding the coverage from Master Bedroom, but they haven't accounted for Strona on the close angle. Finds Monster Girl, not able to switch to the shotgun in time. Cavi still picks up 1. She's only on 1 HP. Dire just has to peek or wait. And she'll wait. She'll make the smarter call. Cavi won't even put the bomb down. She'll save the KD, but honestly, it was a lost round either way. Homeland Nova pick up their first one.
I was scared because of that. Roam didn't go so well for Homeland, but in Homeland, understanding the push, playing it smart, knowing this is a one-sided push, getting that C4 off was huge. It was a huge round for Dire. Getting another pick 2 with that Commando 2, I would say that's a great job from the side of Homeland to understand the push, to take their positions, bunker down, and wait for the push coming out. Victoria had a chance though. Victoria playing from bedroom could have made a big change. They get that first pick, but unfortunately they could not take control of bedroom.
And that's sometimes that's the issues with attacks on Villa. If they acquired that 90 control, that is a big factor that the attack needs to tackle, and that they need to push into their favor. But if you're not able to rotate in time and you're not able to clear out the requisite utility, it's problematic for your overall chances. And then, of course, you had that C4 from Dire from below. The Mozzie wasn't out read by any member. Nobody was sent down to try and clear her out. So while Mirage tackled the vast majority of the roam, they did manage to find Snow and push Dire down. They never did their follow-up. They never did follow up on that intel and drone the bottom floor to see if the Mozzie had rotated back the site, or, as we later knew, was downstairs with the C4. So Mirage, a little bit of a faltering there, but still an overall solid round. Homeland getting there first, that's exactly what they needed to reset the momentum and at least get 1 on the board and prove that they can do it.
Well, we go back to kitchen and dining for a second try from Homeland, and this time they need to be aware of how to rotate and not to get caught off guard if Mirage makes an aggressive player, one you wouldn't expect. Because unfortunately, I think last time they were getting caught off guard, they were rotating too quickly into the attack, trying to get aggressive. Uneatedly in a sense, hard to say, but unfortunately for them, they just didn't go out so well. But let's see what Mirage does this time. This time, there looks to be a more normal attack here. They'll setting up for Laundry. They may go upstairs and clear out top floor. Texas is a great position if they just push Laundry, without any real support, which, Mirage may be looking to do here. They're looking for more of a horizontal take. There's no vertical play for the moment, but Tabby, I say that Tabby's going up there now. So maybe at this point, Mirage are looking for a more standard take of Kitchen by taking top floor and using that vertical play.
It was something that was noticeably absent, of course. It didn't really do that much to hurt their overall chances because the only person left alive was the person upstairs once Mirage actually managed to land their execute. And, well, Keisho, she might very well have landed some shots on a Tabby, but it's Cavi to land the shots in turn. The Jaeger falls. It seems Keisho has not been having the best of luck on the Jaeger so far this round. Whether it's a flank or an early roam inside of Closet, she is consistently shut down by the attacking team. She's the opening pick, or at least in the match.
That's unfortunate for Keisha to go down early like that, but it's interesting to see them use that breakable bulletproof glass to deny that, Maestro Cam. It still works, but it can't see anything unless you open it up, and there it is. It opens up, but no, but the ping comes out. Strona from side of Astro get that kill onto side of Tabby. So there's actually a lot of soft breach denied there. Really big Homeland to get that kill onto Tabby. That makes it more difficult. Now Galid and probably Arrow, if they have probably Galene and Cavi now have to make specific holes with the utility if they want to get that vertical play to work.
Now 2 minutes have now elapsed, and it's probably the most successful roam from Homeland, at least in terms of wasting time. Dire's not even rotated down. She's still content to hold onto this angle. Right as I say that, she'll move on down. And honestly, good for her. Wasted 2 minutes. Many people would have rotated further back, but that just shows her dedication to that extension up top, and that Maestro surviving, not cleared by Mirage, and Evil Eye still left up. Massive intel for the team overall. It's not done with Mirage yet. They do still have 6 breach charges in total, the Ashe in the hands of the Ashe and the Zofia, but at this point, you might have to forego soft destruction and just push the site. That's exactly what Galene will do. She'll push up Laundry Stairs the second time attacking this kitchen site. She's found her first kill, and I believe she landed at least 2 or 3 last time, so eager to recapture that former glory. Monster Girls falls. It's Strona's second on this round. Big round for the Aruni overall. She's now rotated back and redeeming herself from the failed 1v2 clutch earlier. Might find her third as she sees one move in the site, but no, she falls, or at least she's down on the floor. It's just Tex, the sub, in a 1v3. Galene and Cavi are both low. Cavi with a triple as well. This is even worse. She's even more dire straits than her team was last time. Mirage, going off of that, are able to pick that round up, and it looked so good from Homeland up until Mirage decided to hit the site.
It was like, fortunately they lost the first kill, but they're able to get rid of Tabby playing the sledge. That's a lot of soft destruction not available to Mirage to really make, push out those players who maybe were playing on site. But even then, Mirage were able to, convert that to a horizontal push out players in certain positions into other, lanes and other views of other players who are pushing different directions from Mirage, like Galene, who was playing Pantry, getting pushed back by, we saw the Maestro getting pushed back at Monster who walks right into Galene, who's playing Pantry. It's these situations where Mirage is able to push back players and find those picks when those players are rotating. It's huge for Mirage. Homeland had a great start, but unfortunately they could not convert that to the win. We're on to our last round of defense and hoping for Homeland to pick something up and figure something out here.
And now this is the big issue on Homeland's defense. It's their final round, and the only site they've managed to win this trophy statuary, and still locked off. They won it in round number 4, so even though they've lost the last site, they cannot go back because of that site lock. Now, going to AVG, a site they've lost twice. Could have gone to Kitchen, a site they've also lost twice. This is a rough spot for Homeland to be in, albeit, for them, at least in the aggregate, the second strongest round of the rounds Homeland have lost was on AVG. It was their second attempted defense, and they've made some adjustments as well. Now they have a C4 again, but there's no Goyo this time. Dire's kept on the Mozzie. That seems to be where she prefers and where she's strongest. And you also have Tex moving to the smoke. Sure, they have less deployable shields, but now with the smoke, they have much more time to delay and much more time to hurt Mirage where they've been weakest, which is on that AVG execute because of how long they usually take.
Well, that depends on how fast this roam goes this time. This roam before has been, dicey a little bit for Mirage. Most of the time, they still have taken quite a bit to take control of Master, take control of Statuary or Trophy, and make their push onto Vault. And so far, that's been their only push. And it's actually some good information. I would say Mirage's information game seems to be pretty solid throughout this game. They've been able to identify roams, identify, flanks, identify where these players are at, and make sure that they can deal with them beforehand. Die here on Astral Stairs. Drone come out, they don't exactly know where they are. And so at this point, the only roam is going to be on Astral Stairs inside of Statuary. So how well will we be able to cut these two players off and take both out, or will these two players be able to work together and deny this push into statuary or trophy?
Trunner will deny it for just a little bit longer, fire some shots over through master bedroom door, and I honestly should rotate back, but no, she starts moving back in. This is incredibly risky. She spots the head of one, able to thread the needle on the sledge as well. That's your only set of nades. Sure, Sledge might not be the most important op on an AVG defense, but that was a hell of a play by Strona. A gamble, but it pays off. She rotates back, and Homeland come away with the opening pick. Dire, she's gone unread on Astro Stairs, but misses the shot. Still time wasted. She'll creep back down into the basement, and it's Homeland so far running circles around Mirage.
That is a time wasted you need here. Huge for Homeland to waste so much time. Half the round has gone by, and they have not got any kills on the roam. They're looking for these players. I just applauded their information game, and as I said, that is correct. Snow goes down. Unfortunately, Cavi playing below will catch one off guard. Though we still have Dire. She's still downstairs roaming around with the C4 in hand too, which could be pivotal in that execute. What shots below? Looks like Dire, that exact person. She's downstairs making holes, trying to deny that plant either with the C4 or with the gun, because those holes were made before by Snow with that that metal armor first. But Cavi's on the clear here, trying to find the kill so that C4 doesn't bite them in the butt later in the round.
Moving Cavi down, it's likely her and Dire might very well butt heads, but Cavi for the moment is content to just chill inside of library. She'll move on forward. Dire sitting inside of piano could be found depending on which direction Cavi takes, but if only 30 seconds left, if they haven't droned it out and Cavi doesn't clear it herself, this could be problematic. Same as for Keisho. 1 and 6. She'll end the half with only 1 kill as she's just continually slapped down by members of Mirage. Now, Cavi has main stairs control. That is huge. Tex playing inside of here could have faced a lot of pressure, but the efforts of Dire. Once again, she's gone unread down below. It's not a C4, it's a gun this time. And now that Tex is alive, she's able to use her final smoke canister and push Mirage to the brink of time. They'll go for a final 3-man rotate all the way over to Game's door. Lean with the prone, maybe spots one inside a vault, but it's 0-0. Monster Girl getting the plant down. The coverage seems to be successful. Dire still has a C4. She's rotating over, but it's just too late. It doesn't land. The bomb goes down. And right now, it's just Tex alone on the site. She's not long for this world. It has to be a 1v3, and it has to be from Dire. She picks up 1. She spotted the bomb, but it's the 2 members of Mirage that have evaded her sight so far. Monster Girl's only on 1 HP, sitting inside a vault. If Dire's even able to land 1 shot, this could go her way. But no, they're peeking all around to the left and the right. Dire's now on 1, and she falls there. Again, another round where Homeland seemed primed to take it. And they snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
That is so unfortunate for the side of Homeland. This was a great start from the wasted so much time. But Mirage, I talked about information. I talked about maybe even like last second decisions. They were able to identify that nobody was inside a bar in games, or inside of games, and they rotate into games, and knowing was nobody in there because there's only 2 members left that were split up between downstairs and inside of Vault. So just from Mirage's side, their late game executes have been slow, but their ability to identify where to be, where to go has been great for Mirage. I didn't identify where players are, maybe not by finding, Cavi not finding Dire downstairs, but still, I have to applaud Mirage for their ability to just make those last minute decisions on information they may have gained.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many.
Now moving on to the attack. This was a side that we didn't see much from Homeland overall throughout the course of the series, and one of the critiques both Loaf and I had for their attacks was they would sometimes rely on operators like Amaru or Blitz to attain aggression for them. It's also a bit worrying when that was in the first round we saw on Cafe, but right now looks like they're just taking it a bit more standard. Do see a Thermite, not an operator we see on Villa all that much anymore. Thermite, along with Maverick, but right now, talk about Thermite. Thermite's a bit of a risky operator on Villa. Very easily impact threat. Getting close to the wall, you might very well get fried the moment you try to place an exothermic down. And moving to AVG, thankfully, though, there's not all that much hard breaching you need to do. Of course, there are still favorite walls you need to open. You can open Vault. Might, if you want to, open Study Wall, but you can accomplish a lot with just a few X Kairos. So, in all honesty, it's probably just to account for any redundancy in case Dire gets taken down.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Thermite brought. Usually because it's mostly because Ace is banned, so they can't bring Ace if they want to, so they gotta deal with Thermite and have 2 heart breachers. I think having 1 in the back end makes sense just in case it happens to Dire.
Play it safe.
Play it safe. Gotta play it safe. Gotta have redundancies. Redundancies aren't important for games like this. But still, it's gonna be difficult to see where exactly they place those. Yeah, again, impact tricking is huge. You can impact trick the vault wall from the drone hole. And now, so since they have that soft wall on the side of Aviator games, it's gonna be difficult to either get X Kairos or get maybe get a exclamation charge on that game's wall. But again, if they put an AV, at least they can deny rotations from Vault. We'll see what happens first, though, and see exactly how aggressive is Mirage. Mirage looks like they're playing somewhat aggressive. They're playing a bit offsite, but bringing out the Nomad, that's a lot they can use against Mirage to stop them from playing too aggressive. And Galeen is on the pulse, helping out Monster Girl and giving them all the information they need. Probably not only Monster Girl, probably on site too. Any of the girls on site who give me information about who's in their site. It's huge, but it's also this huge. Dire pings out one inside of Library, but didn't know Galeen's inside of Vault.
That drone going unread for as long as it did, a wealth of intel for Homeland. But now the question is, can they match it? Can they act on it? They did not spot Galeen, as you said. 2 drones standing outside of Vault. Oh, but both are shot. Neither of them droned the pulse, and she is taken down by Keisho. So that could have been a lot worse. Thankfully, the Ash was there to capitalize off of that, but that's kind of incredible. We saw both drones enter Vault, and neither turned to see the pulse inside the corner. That's a C4 down. Heartbeat scanner, a wealth of intel down below. Good play by Homeland to take it out, but it's taken a lot of time to do so. And on top of that, that was not a one-man roam. That was a 2-person roam downstairs in Library, and one of them, Monster Girl, has managed to rotate off. She also has a C4. It's the only one on the side of Mirage. She's sitting on red stairs currently, but Homeland don't have a lot to try and transition into an execute. They spent so long trying to clear Library out down below, still have main stairs control. Tex and Keisho are trying to deal with that with all this intel readily at their disposal. Now one falling, a second one as well. It's only Keisho left on that main stairs push. And depending on how this goes, she might very well be the last person alive.
Yeah, unfortunately, part of that floor isn't breakable. She'll play like 1-4 trying to deny Tabby, but Tabby is still playing so well here, entrenched behind that shield, and that main stairs push is very difficult. They still haven't taken control study, and there's 30 seconds left for the girls on Homeland. They don't have a lot of control, and making this happen is very difficult. That's usually why this main stairs study push can be very, difficult to do. And you're running up 2 red stairs, and unfortunately, Keisha goes down to Monster Girl. And at this point, it's a 4v2 for Strona and Dire, and they're going to make something happen here with no time left. He's going to place some secrets one, but he peeked out by Monster Girl playing inside of AV. Strona gets one of their own onto Victoria, looking around for anybody to kill. Sees one over by Maps, gets the kill onto Monster Girl, peeks out into the hallway, tries to get the second kill, but unfortunately, Tabby's going to finish Strona off, and it'll be another win for Mirage.
So one of the big issues was that roam clear down below. Of course, they didn't know where they were. It was not the intel gathering that was the issue for Homeland. It was just acting on it. They spent a lot of time droning it, re-droning it. You saw Dire continuously moving back and forth behind that briefcase, Z-pinging. And while they were able to get that intel, they were not able to act on it for quite a long time. Enough for a Monster Girl rotated all the way over to red stairs, was not cleared out. And then once you've spent 1 minute 30 seconds downstairs, you haven't taken 90 control. You haven't taken study control. You haven't taken really any control around the site. So all you're forced to at that point is to just go for an extremely one-dimensional horizontal push. And that's easily repelled by Mirage. We saw 2 people push up main stairs. Only one of them died, but it still shows that the entire push from Homeland was coming from study, and you're only funneling in through a couple doorways. It's like shooting turkey. I was gonna say shooting turkey in a barrel. I was mixing up analogies. There's turkey shoot, and they're shooting fish in a barrel. Whichever one you want, that's what Homeland were doing.
Yeah, unfortunately for Homeland, like that's usually why those study main stairs takes are so very difficult, because of how much you need to dedicate to it. There's a lot of destruction, a lot of just using utility to deny, ADSs, deny discs, get rid of shields. It's a very difficult task to do, and why I probably saw Mirage go for that north to south take, going from master bedroom, taking those trophy statue away every single time when they attack the AVG. So unfortunate for Homeland, doesn't work out, and now Mirage on match point. They'll be defending trophy and statuary. One site we've seen won by Homeland, and we'll see how Mirage defends it if they can do the same.
Homeland bringing the same lineup, that same hard reach redundancy. The only change is Keisho has foregone the Ash. She's picked up the Buck, and there is no Ash on the side of Homeland. She has also fallen a little bit out of favor, though we've normally seen Ash replaced with the Yana. Yana has a little bit more clear overall. She has both intel, and if you bring in a Rooney, which Mirage are not, but Homeland were, you're bringing a Rooney, you can use the Yana drone to clear out that Aruni gate. You also have nades in the Gone 6, but what Buck does bring is vertical soft destruction from below. So Homeland are likely planning to take Keisho down below. You can also see Tex moving in right now to try and acquire this and use that skeleton key, but they have not droned basement. This is a mistake a lot of teams make, and normally it doesn't matter, but here against Mirage, it does. You have both Galeen and I believe Tabby down below, and nobody, not a soul on Homeland, appears to be aware of the destruction they may unleash.
Oh, unfortunate. Galeen will take out Tex in that roam, and Kisho's there trying to get the refrag. Though unfortunately, Kisho gets one, and Kisho gets two. Kisho gets two. Great for Kisho to get those two roamers off the board. Though you did lose your Nomad in that Inquire, you still got rid of both roamers, which is huge to them. And now, Galeen, now that Galeen and them are down, you have Kisho going to work to get rid of this electrical on the main wall. And if they get this wall open, it's huge for Homeland to take this round. Because they do have the man advantage for the moment. The personnel advantage is in their favor. Strona looking around, seeing if anybody's doesn't look. I'm not sure what the intel is for them because it looks like at this point Strona, she's trying to peek around, see if anybody's over in Astro. Doesn't see anybody at the moment. Oh, unfortunately, Victoria get the kill on the Dire, and there goes her heart breach.
Not all of it, though. There's that redundancy, Benny. Snow used one of her exothermics, but it appears the intel game from Homeland is leaving a little to be desired. Strona's moved on in, but she has not seen Cavi on main stairs. Problems showing at the beginning and problems showing later. But both times, Homeland have swatted down the flankers either way. It was Galeen and Tabby. Now Cavi to join them in the grave. She'll move on in. It's a reckless gunfight. The one that still goes Homeland's way. They use the thermite, open up that wall, and it's a bit of an awkward push-in by the Zofia, but it still results in Homeland's second round.
Oh, that was chaos, utter chaos, but still great work from Homeland. We were scared about that roam in the beginning from Tabby and Galeen, but great work from Kisho to, probably get good comms from the person getting killed of Tex, being able to turn around, get both of those kills, deny a C4. I think the C4 on both of those players that could have been used later on. So huge from Kisho to get that kill, use the buck, the shotgun, the skeleton key, destroyed the electric claw. They opened up the wall, and even though Strona didn't have the intel, Strona still had the game sense and the knowledge to be like, hey, I'm going to look at Astral Stairs real quick to make sure I'm not getting flanked. And perfect timing to get that kill.
I do still want to acknowledge the issue there because they were able to counter it. Kisho, excellent job getting the trades. Strona pushing in, excellent job clearing out the round for your team and clearing space inside of Astro. But in both situations, the one a bit more prevalent than the other, there were spots that went undroned, and had gunfights not gone Homeland's way, could have very well been exploited by Mirage if just some more shots hit. If Cavi on the Jaeger is able to land those shots from Astro Stairs and Strona doesn't 180, that's your entire Astro push dead. If down below, if Kisho isn't able to pick up those two kills, and even then, if she's able to pick up one but gets traded, you're still in the man disadvantage, and your entire push down below is gone, and you've lost a buck and a nomad. There's still problems for Homeland that they desperately need to fix because you can't rely on Strona 180ing or Kisho getting a double every round. Mirage only have to have a successful flank one more time, and then that's the map done with.
Yeah, very true, very true. Unfortunately for them, it's just too, where was Tex putting those air jabs last time? That's a big thing too, is where you place those air jabs, just if you're trying to take control of, dining, take control of, pantry, take control of all those sites so you can create that vertical pressure is huge. So maybe, I'm not sure where Tex going to put them this time, but if they're going to go for the same play, because it looks to be a different site though, it's kitchen dining this time. Rather than going upstairs inside Trophy Statuary, we're going down to one of the tertiary sites, one of the more difficult sites. But with the aggression from Mirage, maybe this is a site more suited to them. As you can see, we see they have to clear this from upstairs, and it looks like Homeland are going to go full gung-ho on clearing this room and making sure they can take out these defenders.
There is a bit of a change in an operator lineup, and what has so far been, I would say, about 80% stagnant, then one change in the past couple rounds. We have another. Snow has moved to the Capitao. It's now Dire on Hard Breach, and that's their only source. You can get away with that on Kitchen, but I'm amazed Strona got away with that. Well, actually, probably good that Tabby didn't get away with it. That was a brazen rotate down Astro Stairs, trying to play it safe, but she gets picked off. The pulse down below, we can see her moving around. Oh, but how close Texas come! A C4 seemingly explodes right below her, but only does, or only puts her to 1 HP. The Goyo finds one, downs another. That was Tex on one, so she wasn't long for this world. Honestly, getting down is probably the best outcome. Lost that buck in the Nomad. The two in the opening duel once again. A C4 wasted as they didn't know Strona was inside the bathtub. You can't blow up ceramic. The roam up top. It's rotated down. It's had its impact. And now Homeland, for what seems like it's been the entire game, is on the back foot for another round.
Is that really true? You can't blow up ceramic?
I mean, you can, but not in this game.
Anyway,
maybe it's like marble. Maybe it's marble. Something.
Either way, so this has been quite the roam clear here for Homeland. Homeland has at least been able to push those roamers off board, get some kills they required to, but unfortunately Galeen was able to get one back and even it up. So still at this point, Homeland now to figure out what is the plan now. They don't have their soft breach anymore. They can't exactly officially go to work on this floor and see if they get some kills, but Victoria playing with fire, getting almost caught off by someone watching through the top of the reinforcements into Memorial. still, let's see what happens now. Dyer's going to push into laundry. Looks like this is going to convert to a laundry push, and whether or not they have the soft destruction to cover to push into site and get that plant down, it's gonna be huge for Homeland. There's only 30 seconds left to go. Darius pushes in, and it looks like there's a mute camera on that wall though, because you saw the mute jammer going off in the distance. Can they still get this wall open? Yes, the mute jammer is still there, and now the players from Mirage are coming back, knowing this is gonna be a push from Laundry into site. Tex and Snow come through, Storm with the kill onto Victoria from above. That's huge. They're getting closer to 19 seconds left though. Oh, that plant's denied by Galeen, pushing back into dining. There's no above coverage because they don't have soft destruction to do so. So that's huge with 10 seconds left to go. Shots come up. Shona gets into the kill into Galeen from above. That's huge there. Cavi gets one of the Tex. Tex had no HP. Shona goes down upstairs. It's now in the snow. In a 1v1 though. Monster 2 seconds left. Where is Monster at? Nobody knows. Can't get the plant down. And there's Mirage to finish off the map.
For bringing it back as close as they did in that final round, impressive work, not only from Strono, got a 3K that round, but from Homeland overall, but it still was not enough for what started out as a fairly weak defense and seemed to be, I wouldn't even say a fairly weak attack, but it was a strong, very strong defense from Mirage, especially in that last round. Great play by the Pulse down below with the C4s, as well as coordination and mechanical skill by Galeen, aided by that intel from the Pulse. Those were the two biggest things that made that work, was the C4 downing or putting Tex to 1 HP, then Galeen, as she rotates off, hits a couple fadeaways, peeking out master bedroom door, exploiting the hole that Homeland had left in their attack. Nobody was watching that doorway. That's really what made it, because at that point, Homeland stalled out. They lost their bucks, so they don't have any soft destruction, or they've lost their major source of soft destruction, and whatever they wanted to do at the site was mostly impossible. Got a couple kills from up above, but beyond that, it was pretty much Mirage's round through and through.
I never think the Homeland made a great attempt to come back though, because they had no soft destruction. They were able to still make some, angles that got them some kills, but unfortunately they couldn't cover their planter. It seemed maybe they were a bit in too much of a rush at that point, to take control and get that site down, because again, time was running out. Time was so down at that point. They were trying to rush to get on site, get that plant down. Unfortunately, they didn't have the proper coverage for that plant. But either way, Homeland, the scoreline wasn't exactly what it thinks, because I think it was a closer game than a 7-2, but because Homeland showed some adaptation, showed some great changes to their play, but unfortunately, like mechanically wise, it seems like Mirage was just a little bit up there.
That is a good point that you brought up. While it was a 7-2, it was still much, much closer. Not only in scoreline than some of the maps Homeland played last week, but in attempts. Those first two defensive rounds looked solid from Homeland, and it showed that they were capable of making adaptations. But just sometimes when you are facing players like on the side of Mirage that are as mechanically talented as you said, if you have it come down to gunfights, sometimes it seems more likely than not that Mirage will come away with it, even when the odds are 50-50. So overall, good for Mirage on round one. Of course, that was Mirage's map pick, so you were expected to win that. Now it's on Homeland to win their next map pick of Club. And honestly, Benny, what are your thoughts? How do you think Clubhouse might go based on what we've seen on Villa?
I'm loving to see this adaptation from Homeland. If Homeland keeps the adaptation up, if they bring up some stress that maybe Mirage can't deal with, because but Villa, unfortunately, has a lot more, I feel like, long-range gunfights than Clubhouse does. Clubhouse, I feel like, can get away with that strat of, wasting time, taking control, using the utility against the enemy. If they can keep doing that on their defense, attacking-wise, I think it's more about, like, intel. Intel's the biggest thing here I felt like was an issue for Homeland on the previous map. If they can have the intel down, if they're able to drone out Clubhouse appropriately compared to before, I think they have a good chance.
Well, and that's a good point as well. I would say kind of like Villa, but definitely more so on Club. It's a map where there's only a couple really avenues of flank, especially vertically. You could go blue stairs from basement to first floor, but beyond that, it's a very segmented and there's only a couple lanes you can flank through, and there's only so many spots you can sit. So if the intel game is strong from Mirage, they're able to clear out Homeland, that could be a problem. But if Homeland are able to shore up the issues that they had, which, again, this is their map pick. If out of all these three maps, this is the one where their mistakes should be the least and their game should be the strongest. So going into that, that's what I would like to see is, as you said, them capable of making that intel, because that plays to Clubhouse's strength of just only having very minimal avenues to push from. But, of course, we'll get to map 2 in just a little bit. We're going to take a short 5-minute break. Don't go anywhere.
Decoding memory banks.
Maybe we should go to another planet because Earth is kind of, strange. I'd like to go to an interesting place. Like Venus, maybe. Well, let's go to the water first, okay? That's more your specialty.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Will we have map 3 in the cards, or will Homeland walk out of CCSW with 2 2-0 losses and being last place in the tournament? I'm Lynx, joined by Benny Au, and we're on map number 2. As we just said, it is Clubhouse, Homeland Nova's map pick. So if there's any territory, it should be this. And Benny, what do they need to fix going in that we should look at and take a note of?
Yeah, so we go off last map. I think the big thing is just intel because right now, so Mirage have the side choice because it is Homeland's map pick, so they're gonna be choosing
Naturally.
defense, naturally. And so the big thing here is the fact that we've seen Mirage play very aggressive on the defense. Of course, we've seen the typical roams when it comes to Church and Arsenal. Typical roams when you see downstairs, C4s from below we've seen as well. So I think at this point, intel is huge here for Homeland. Droning is gonna be big for them. I saw last map, droning wasn't exactly stellar at times. There are times where people had to, dry peek, had to maybe turn around and surprise at times when people didn't know where they were. And that's kind of the issue we see here with Homeland. And I really isn't gonna translate well if it happens here. It is their map pick, so I'm assuming their intel is good. But the problem is if that translates to Clubhouse, then I think this Mirage are going to be all over them. They're going to be jumping at them left and right, figuring out times where they can, flank, they can push, they can take fights. You saw a text on the Nomad last map. That's a big thing too. Nomad's not exactly a normal choice in Clubhouse, but if they keep that up and if they keep up that aggression, they're able to fight back and maybe even put that aggression to be a bad point for Mirage. It's going to be, I think that's big.
Well, this is even a bit of a risk-reward situation. You mentioned how intel, both on the defense, but especially the offense, seemed to hurt them. If you're talking about the defense, of course, as you said, Mirage starting out on that side, could leave the Valkyrie up. Of course, it was banned out on Villa. Clubhouse, another strong Valkyrie map, but a map where she gets a lot of play. If you're struggling on the defense with gaining utility in your Homeland Nova, could try to use that as a factor to bring yourself back, but you also, that would mean you give Mirage Valkyrie. And Mirage with Valkyrie could very well be a scary force and something difficult to reckon with. So a lot of it should come from their adjustments on attack. And what better way for this to work out than for Homeland Nova to start on the attack? We'll see in guaranteed 6 rounds whether or not they're capable of making those adjustments, either from mistakes they make on this map and then continue on, or if they're able to look at Villa and then continue on. And we see that improvement because we did see some improvement by Homeland Nova, a bit more on their defenses than their attacks, but we still saw improvements nonetheless. And that makes me happy. That makes me happy. It shows that this is not a foregone conclusion.
I still think adaptation is huge from Homeland. I like that they're figuring out things. They're trying to do different things in these plays. But I think big first part to talk about is going to be, bans first here. And big thing too as well is we didn't see a lot of hard breaching from the side of Homeland because we didn't really see much of their attack anyway. But I think that's first thing. Their attack first, and whether or not what's banned and how if they can get these well open, because denying hard breach is one of the biggest things on Clubhouse.
And more often than not, the ban phase goes a little bit, at least the attacker ban phase goes a little bit similar on Clubhouse as it does to Villa. Of course, goes a little bit similar on every map, but you probably will lose a Thatcher on Clubhouse. And, well, as I was about to say, more often than not, you lose your Hibana as well. Hibana, another ranged hard breacher, banned for different reasons on Clubhouse than she is on Villa. Villa, it's definitely more so the range, but on Clubhouse, you're able to open up so much on Clubhouse with the new Hibana change. That's probably why. But of course, we could also see a Maverick here. He's banned fairly frequently as well, but it will be that Thatcher. That's good for Homeland, though. Having that Mirage in the pocket means they can cut through hard breach denial, and they won't have to play in the hellscape that is a Thatcher Mav ban on Club.
Yeah, Thatcher map bans make it so painful for the attack. But either way, Hibana's still a big pick because big thing has been we've seen from a lot of teams is impact tricking. Something came from Villa. It still happens here on Clubhouse importantly too, and that's why I usually take a Hibana out because you can use 2 pellets, 4 pellets. Pick them all. Kaid being banned out makes sense with Thatcher being on the being banned too. Being able to destroy his electric claws is very difficult when you don't have a Thatcher. It can be quite the process to try and deal with those electric claws elsewise. This is the last man's going to be. Is it going to be a Maestro? Is it going to be maybe Womai? But no, it is Mirror once again. Mirror not as strong on Clubhouse, but still can be an obstacle in this map.
Well, we do not have Valkyrie ban, as I talked about before. Again, Valkyrie is a very common ban, but now that means that not only do Mirage have her in her hand, both team could use them once Homeland switches to their defensive half. But just because an operator is left up, that does not mean she'll or whatever operator it is will get used. And for Mirage right now, going down to basement, it doesn't look like they're making use of that Valkyrie. Could see somebody 6-pick, but it does look like they're going for a roam. Valkyrie could very well aid it, but the point of this roam, as we all know, is to waste time and deny intel. The Mute and the Mozzie, along with the Castle and the Vigil, those 4 operators are all meant to burn time, utility, and intel. And if Mirage were capable of doing that, we've already seen how Homeland can struggle when they're not able to get their footing early on and how quickly things can tumble out of their favor.
Yes, we're talking about intel too, and this is the big thing. If they can gain the correct intel, they know exactly how Mirage is going to play this because it's going to be an intel deny roam, like you said. Utility is going to be wasted. If they can, make this quick and maybe push on the site and try to evade those roamers, bypass them, and go straight for a plant, it could work out. But again, teams usually are, they'll have a hard time droning out. They have a hard time like recognizing, the strat and recognizing that they can rush, what angle they can rush. Would it be blue? Would it be dirt? Sometimes they have an issue with doing that because it is hard to figure out and then to effectively, bypass it or to, efficiently push on the site. And it's interesting though, they've reinforced kitchen. They're reinforcing modal hatch too, which usually if there's roam, usually that isn't reinforced, so you have a way of coming back to site. But unfortunately, maybe at this point, Mirage is more looking to just waste time and not get kills on this roam, so they may looking to just walk down the stairs and come back to a normal defense.
But if you are talking about walking down the stairs, one of the main counters for this roam, since everyone is extended so far off the site, is just sending it down blue or oil pit, but hitting the site as quickly as possible. Starting out, though, you can already see Platwall becoming a focus for Keyshow, but Homeland's attacks as a whole. They might well just move on in, but no, they might move on down instead. Keyshow is vaulted on top of Secret. Zofia next to her, they're just sending it on down blue. Spots the head of one, but the shots go wide, just between the head and the neck of the Malusi. Now they know the attackers are on top of Secret. Tex has now joined the party. Sent an A down, but just like the bullets of the ace, it doesn't find much of anything. Their position so far is uncontested.
So this is where the stop comes into play, because taking blue, sure, that is what you can rush down, but it's hard to do. And as I said, Cavi peeks out, finds one kill on Nostrono, and this push is coming down to being stalled out. But Dire gets one kill, but Cavi's gotten two. A 2-for-1 deal is not looking good for Homeland. Dire is taking place into the dirt. But because it's taking so long, this allows for the defenders to come back to site, knowing this is a straight push on the site. Cavi's playing behind box, one playing at the door too. So this play, Banshee put down last second, interestingly enough, from Cavi. But either way, this is still a very difficult play. And now if they stalled out, these players, these defenders that were roaming can easily come back to site, even maybe flank the players who are pushing Secret, like Kiso, by herself inside of blue.
And based on the Homeland they're playing, they've lost both their Zof and their Sledge. The only ones left are hard breaching, and I imagine they're not going to be doing a whole heck of a lot of that at this point in time. Dire tries to push on in, but all she does is feed Cavi her third kill. And it seems just at this point, this round might be lost for Homeland. Though Snow picks up one, I might have spoken too soon. Keyshow picks up a second, suddenly things are even. Tabby and Monster Girl are left, the former of which has a C4. But it's still been brought to this even man count, and Monster Girl is currently the only person on the site. Keyshow's just around the corner on the opposite side of the wall. The Monster Girl has much more HP than the Ace does, almost 1 to 100 in terms of a ratio, and all she has to do is wait and bide her time. Snow's pushing from the opposite side of the map. They're not going to be able to support each other very much, but if Keyshow is just waiting and watching the cross, Snow might be able to get the plant down if the coverage is successful. C4 flies out, or at least something flies out. It was a C4, but it doesn't do anything. In fact, the bomb goes down, relatively uncontested from Mirage. Snow now on box one, spots the head, not able to land the shots, just barely rotates too far, but they're in the advantage now. Now suddenly they're not. Keyshow on the floor, the round's moved away. It's a defuse and a clutch from Mirage.
Save comes up with Tabby in that round, unfortunately. It was close, though. Some great shots from Kizo and from Dire to bring it back. Or I think it was Dire. Dire to bring it back with the Thermite and the Ace to try and bring that round back. But either way, it's just unfortunate that they were looking to maybe push quick in, but Cavi was the wall in the way of Homeland making their way into sight. Playing behind, playing in blue, behind the AC unit, just waiting for a push and taking fights, causing Homeland to just stall out and allowing for, Mirage to reposition themselves for that push.
On top of that, once they lost their Zof and their Sledge, there really wasn't much hope because even though Kate is banned, you have that mute. Some are placed on the site. You're not going to be able to do a whole lot of hard breaching. And Homeland, they seem dedicated, but they were just cut down. Moving to CCTV, seeing a little bit of a defense. You don't extend nearly as far on this site as you do on Basement, but we do have that Valkyrie, who can aid in a loose roam. That's often what we see. We might see an extension into Con. We'll certainly see an extension in Garage. More often than not, it's 1 or 2 players playing off the site, and those Valk cams will be the biggest boon to their play strategy overall. But as for the site, you have Monster Girl and the Bandit. You obviously all know what she's going for. She's going to try to bandit trick that wall and make it difficult for the Thermite to open things up. It is a little bit aided here with how much hard breach redundancy Homeland are bringing. Normally we see 2, but all 3 remaining hard breachers seem to be a staple in Homeland's lineup. So even if they lose exothermics or they lose Selma charges, it's not like there's a shortage on their side.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if the bandit tricking. It looks like Monster Girl is putting those bandit batteries down just to waste time and waste, cause Homeland to do all of their job. And there's Victoria putting a sneaky cam underneath that, into that drone hole so they can peek out on them playing that garage wall. So it looks like they're setting up for a potential aggression on if they go for that garage take. And there's actually a reinforcement now. Really good drone from Shona watching Cavi sitting inside a bedroom. So I'm interested to see what exactly is the plan here for Homeland. If they're going to go for a construction take, open up plat wall, and make it a split take, or if they're going to just go for the typical open go for garage, take control of plat, and get behind server rack. But it looks like that's some interesting information here for the side of Homeland, and see if they can clear out the Jaeger of Cavi, because Cavi's sitting here not knowing the information is in their hands.
And she has not moved far from where that drone previously spotted her about 10 to 15 seconds ago. Another drone coming in might spot the player on main stairs, and yes, it will. So Strona could have lost her life pretty quickly had they not done their due diligence. And so we might be seeing that adaptation in droning from Homeland. It might net them the first round, depending on how this roam clear goes. Spot the head of the Jaeger, able to land a clean shot from Strona. Still takes a bit of damage, a bit of a delayed reaction time there. You still came away with the kill, and that's what matters. So now that they've cleared out over on that master bedroom side, what else are they to do? I believe they might have opened up plat wall based off the sound of it, but well, will they clear out garage? That's also a question. They're doing their work in con. Monster Girl smoked off the face of the earth. They have the western side, and they have plat wall as well. But do they have plans for garage? Because if they don't, that's a very strong angle at the defender's disposal.
Yeah, being able to have that cross over to the doors, Victoria playing very aggressive, gets a kill on the Shona to even just cause more disruption in the plans here from Homeland, and unfortunately can't get the second kill onto Dire. She'll get taken out. And now at this point, it looks to be a split take. They're trying to figure what they're going to do here, but again, having that player in Rafters, oh no, never mind, player Rafters is now taken out. Galeen has now taken Rafters now back up red, so both the last two plays of Tabby and Galeen are both inside of red, but no, Galeen goes downstairs, maybe looking to get an angle on somebody playing below, or maybe trying to find an angle on the planter from below, but they just have a C4. So what is she to do from below like that? Tabby by himself with two smoke cancers left, gonna throw it at that open construction wall, try and deny this, but Kisho doesn't know that nobody's in Rafters, but if Kisho figures out nobody Rafters, they can easily push in, take fights with people on red stairs. And so far, Kisho looks like they're trying to peek it out, but still no clue if nobody's there or not. Looking left, looking right, Galeen looking to maybe even go to Rafters, maybe for the moment. No, Galeen goes back up to red. It's still last second left. Snow begins to plant the diffuser. Tabby's gonna swing on one, trying to swing on plat. Unfortunately, loses the fight. Tabby goes down. It's just Galeen. Galeen knows because the information from the Valkyrie cams. Unfortunately, there's no C4 in her hand. She can only just shoot to the floor and will not be able to get that kill. So Galeen now in a 1v4. Tabby's down. Can he pick up Tabby? The Galeen looks like they're trying to figure out, but no, they're gonna swing plat. Nobody's there anymore. That person on plat, Kisho, takes off, runs over to the CC window, and now jumping out. Galeen could jump out. Here's the movement of them. But under one lying down, it's going to be the finish up by Dire, and Homeland will take their attack.
Excellent roam clear by Homeland overall, and a little bit of the problems that, was one specific problem that Mirage had was I think Victoria was getting a little bit over aggressive there. You saw she got the kill inside of construction. That was impressive from her. She should have gotten punished, but still able to peek out, land that shot onto Strona. One of the better players last map on the side of Homeland. That was enough. Sure, you didn't have man advantage, but you still caused a little bit of uncertainty. But she kept repeaking that angle, and Homeland, they moved to the positions and achieved the coverage that they initially had when they got that second kill onto Monster Girl. And then Victoria was punished. Now they're left in a 2v4. Dwelmais decided to rotate over because not the biggest point in holding garage anymore. Felt she could be a better use on red. But now they've trapped themselves in one part of the map. There's one on plat wall, so they can't rotate across. There's three members in and around construction that are also watching the cross, and once both of them are seen and noticed on red, they are basically trapped there, and the crossfires and the man advantage for Homeland was too strong to deal with. They got their first round. Homeland have been able to even at 1-1, and if they play their cards right this round, might take the lead the first time in this match.
Yeah, we talked about intel, and I think that round Homeland had great intel on the roamers, great intel on the players, and with maybe the intel in the late game wasn't as great, but the fact that they hit early and mid game, great intel on these players and able to deal with the roam and deal with these aggressive players was huge from Homeland. What we want to see from them, we want to see these great intels from players and being able to deal with the aggression from Mirage. But let's see, we're going to redo that CCTV and cache site here for Mirage. And Victoria is still putting out those cams. Those cams did get some good intel last time, but maybe if they had a C4 last time, they could have denied the plant rather than having to, shoot through the floor in those last dying seconds of the round. What exactly is Homeland going to play here? Are they going to go for a same kind of play? So you're able to identify that Valkyrie cam outside. Great job from Homeland. And I'm wondering what exactly are they going to do different.
So far, nothing much. They're holding their same spots. Kisho repelling up right now. Going to use those 2 Selma charges on Platwall, just like she did last time. And Strona on the western side of that appears to be going for the exact same roam clear as she did before. And of course, it works. I won't blame them for trying things twice, as members of Mirage are playing the same positions as well. Cavi inside a master bedroom, Victoria on main stairs. But now Cavi's in a different spot. She has to be droned. She is spotted, so it's not like she's able to get this kill on the Zofia for free, or maybe she does! Great intuition, or at the very least, excellent luck by the Jaeger. Nails Zofia through the wall, and that's the opening pick, going the way of Mirage, and something they sorely needed if they want to try and stall out and waste Homeland's time.
And maybe they were a bit too overzealous there on that pick because there wasn't anybody to go for the refrag. But I say that Tex gets the refrag on the Cavi. Cavi unaware of the push into Logi is huge here to get that refrag. So Victoria's still below though. Victoria's C4, they could C4 with the information, but looks like there's no information Victoria to go off of. So they're going to return to site for the moment. But either way, it's trading a Zofia for a Jaeger. Not the pretty good trade for the defense. Still looking good for them. But either way, I don't think they should let Mirage, or not letting Homeland just do all the work they can. Mirage still has, a chance to cause chaos. But I say that Dyer gets a kill on a monster girl, and there goes your bandit. I think Dyer just jumped in for that kill.
She might have, in fact, and amazing that she came away with it, but there was a bit of a difference here than last round. Flatwall is not only still closed, it is still bandited. The Maverick is still alive, and Dyer has plenty of her Maverick torch, but we only have a minute left in the round. So as long as that remains bandited and nobody either goes below or rotates over, this wall is not getting destroyed. But here's Tex. So rotate, send a nade on in, and it destroys both. Isho can use both those Selma charges, so it's a bit later than last time, and they could be pressed for time by the end, but this is, at the very least, an improvement from where things started to go for Homeland. Galeen makes the exact same swing Victoria did, lands the same kill, but instead of aggressing once again, she rotates back down. This is even it. Punish Dyer for remaining unaware, and now Homeland, they have to use their final set of nades to send it over Conway, and it misses! It doesn't go over, I don't think! The bandit batteries remain on there. They can't open con, and this is exactly where their push is coming from. They don't have any options to rotate. They could, but it would likely result in Mirage cleaning up the members one by one. Tex gets it, so it's still the man advantage going into the final 5. But Victoria with the C4, she could still have it. She could blow it up. It downs 2 or downs 1, and the bomb's recovered. She's able to get the plant. It's just Victoria in a 1v2. Knows there's coverage there. Here's one around the corner, picks up the kill, but she whiffs the shots! The sledge was in front of her! She couldn't land it! And the sledge, Tex gets away with highway robbery!
That was a good way to put that. That was so crazy. Again, the time was huge for Homeland. They were running out of time, and again said they couldn't open that wall between Con and Cash. That was huge. The fact that they just walk in the door, but they still had to make that play happen. Actually, they walk through the window of CCTV, and they go for that plant, knowing that the only person on site was killed because Victoria was downstairs and the person on rafters was downed. So Victoria gets to download the C4. Huge for Victoria to get that down the planter, and has to trade out Texas to go for the plant instead because the person, Snow was down. And unfortunately, in that situation, difficult to go for the play. Couldn't get the shot off in time and get shot down. Couldn't deny the plant. Just a wealth of chaos.
That's the thing. Aside from that gunfight, Homeland's coverage, it wasn't great. You saw one playing on the opposite side of the server rack, but because of how low man count they had, it's likely they anticipated the push coming from Garage, or likely anticipated Victoria to come Garage, based on where that player was playing. So once the C4 goes down, blows up, planter's down, Victoria comes on in, that was a prime spot. But hey, sometimes it's Siege. That's just, that's the issue with first-person shooters sometimes. Sometimes you don't hit your shots, and sometimes it happens in critical moments. But what Mirage can take solace in is that Victoria put their team in a beyond winnable situation. Great play by her overall in that round, with the C4 from below, with the play, downing the planter. So it's not like it was a bad round for Mirage. In fact, it was a really good one, and one that honestly should have gone in their favor. So again, even though they're down and Homeland have taken the lead for what might be one of, if not the only times in CCSW, Mirage can still be happy with the fact that it was a strong round for them up until those final 5 seconds or so.
Yeah, I think Mirage did it well. You got their first pick too as well from Mirage's side. Able to make something happen, and they were able to keep the man count always even, and really, it could have been, Victoria could have clutched that either way. It was a very close round. But we see what happens. They were going to first time play. We're going to bedroom and gym here for Mirage. And of course, looks like they have the bandit barriers once again. So they got to go through these, these Rooney gates to get this bandit barriers off the wall. Or they could grenade it. There probably is an ADS though through that, and looks like they're just going to shoot the bandit batteries. And they're trying to fire back. Monster Girl's trying to fire back at them, but unfortunately will not really get a kill. And that jacuzzi wall should be open up now. And Mirage members will pull back, and looks like they're going to late reinforce this bathroom wall and make sure that they have to destroy another set of reinforcements to get through here. And Monster Girl's going to bandit battery those ones too, so it should be difficult, wasting time, just wasting utility. Whether or not is Homeland even going to try and attempt to take control of cash on the other side.
We haven't seen many teams really try and take down that cash hold as we have previously. You do see Dire all the way over there as alongside Strona, though Strona might just be playing on Metal Balk, so it might just be Dire really in a position or thinking about doing anything with it. But most teams, they just opt to try and clear Jacuzzi Wall, but that's the problem. And how well played Monster Girl played that position. Wasted about a minute to take those bandit batteries off, and she's a smart player. She knows, okay, they're going to contest you in bedroom. I'm a dead man if I try and bandit trick that. So I'm gonna back off, reinforce bathroom, and now that that's closed, they have to rotate the Maverick over, or at the very least send a nade on over, which it appears that they did, but it still required more time and utility spent. Opening duel goes the way of Homeland. Upside down repel Snow was, found the head of Victoria on main stairs, but there's still a fair bit of time, and I think time is on the defender's side here. They've just managed to open bathroom wall, but they haven't made any pushes in. They have to spend the next 20 seconds or so trying to gain whatever intel, but they'll be walking right into the opening's arms of the remaining 4 defenders.
The defenders at this point should have Solus inside of construction, be able to deny the plan from construction or gold, but this person, Monster Girl, behind the bed, gets taken out by Tex. Great shot from Tex into the head of Monster Girl, and now the plan should go down, but there's a shield there, and it looks like they're trying to look over the shield, and unfortunately, no, Tabby goes down by Tex 2, Tex takes 2, Galeen coming main stairs, can't take a kill, downs 1, but it's the Galeen in a 1v4, as unfortunately, Cavi's down, Galeen gets 2, Dire will finish off Cavi, and Galeen now knows one's below, sees them, takes some heavy damage on the Snow, but still, the timer is ticking. Galeen's got to do some crazy work to make this happen, and she goes downstairs, try and find the kill, at least on the Snow, to pick up those kills, buff up those stats, walk up the stairs. Strona and Dire looks like they're in perfect positions to try and deny this plant, or deny them from disabling it. So they're just outside these windows waiting, and Galeen's going to walk in, sees the diffuser, but unfortunately doesn't know where any of these players are at, so that's going to walk in with no intel. Try and go for that counter diffuse, disable, jumps out the window, and Strona's there waiting, finishes her off, and it'll be Homeland take another round.
Top of that, they have now won every single site. The only site that, oh, I just realized. I have been writing the rounds on the wrong side. So that is not true. That is not true what I was just about to say. I was about to say, for whatever reason, I was writing Homeland's wins on Mirage's side. That was kind of weird. But anyway, still, what I was going to say is Homeland have now, I was going to say they won all 3 sites. That being correct. They have won 2 of the sites, though. The only site they have lost is Basement. And albeit here, they did try to hit the site, and this was by far and away their weakest round. Of course, it's the one round they lost, so that makes sense. But as opposed to the other ones where they've been able to keep it consistent, they might have lost it a little bit, but they managed to bring it back. This started out poor and got poorer as the round went on. Mirage are going for the same setup. It's that same Vigil, Mute, Castle, Mozzie, Rome, and the Melusi to hang out on side as well. Homeland, they could try to play into it, but we've already talked about how their intel, while it's looking stronger on club, they need to have all the drones at their disposal. It's not something where this might be a little bit difficult for them, especially with how Villa looked in mine. Again, it's looked better, but playing into this might not be in Homeland's best interest. It'll likely be close. They could try to hit the site again, and if they're just a bit quicker about it, a bit more decisive with that intel on the site, I think this round could go their way. But Basement for right now, I don't know. That first round, it just looks so weak from Homeland. I don't know which path they should exactly take. Kind of
if they go for that same play last time where they're just going to hit blue, they need to make sure somebody's in oil pit so they can get that lead, get the refrag, and make sure Cavi isn't that, that hard wall they hit and they stop, and they stall. So last time that was huge. Cavi got 3 kills that round for them. And next, like this point, hey, I talked about oil pit and blue. If they can get 2 people together like that and go for, that two-person prong, but it looks like I say that, but it looks like they're actually trying to push these roamers upstairs. Tex looking to go with that wall and open it up and get angle onto the players inside of Cash, but it looks like they destroyed that mute jammer on the CC wall, but really, it's not that big of a deal. These players look like Tabby's upstairs inside of construction, but I don't know how many players are really playing for this, or if they're just trying to waste time and then come back to site.
Tex moving on in, just right to the right of Tabby, though it's Galeen to rush on in and the first to die. Ran straight past Tabby, and now she's rotated back. Her and Monster Girl have both left the building, or at the very least gone all the way down to the basement, all the way to the bottom floor. Now the room is cleared. A minute in, and you've managed to clear out the entire SSG roam. Of course, they do still have to move down to that first floor, and they likely will still take some time to drone, because with those mute jammers, those Mozzie pests, they will likely still have a little bit of residual time burned. But that's a lot quicker than I thought it would be, especially playing into that. Once Galeen got killed, Tabby decided to cut her losses. I would say this is the dream scenario for Homeland right now. Everyone's alive. You're able to get Tex to work on soft destruction, and those 3 hard breaches as well. There's not a wall or hatch that is safe. I was a bit pessimistic at the beginning, but now I'm very optimistic for Homeland's chances.
Yeah, it's interesting because they reinforce a lot of these hatches you usually wouldn't see in this kind of roam, but I think it's because they think they're going to come down. They're going to make sure that they can, play for that end game on site. So they do that to make sure they can, cause the attackers to waste the utility as much as they can. And Tabby in a position looking to get a kill. Unfortunate, no, shotguns too late, too slow. Keisha will get that kill. That's one person down. A C4 down as well for them, and they see that soft wall in that tri-wall of church. So this is a lot they can go for. Of course, the mute's there, but they leave a lobber grenade over that wall and destroy those mutes. So now in a 3v5, Mirage have a lot of catching up to do, and a lot of kills they got to make up for it.
Do you still have Cavi with the C4? It appears she might. I'm actually not entirely sure where she is. She might be inside a church, but either way, still 3v4. Yep, inside a church. Tries to make the lineup work and turn bottom main into an incinerator, but it gets caught on the wall. She still has it in her pocket. It's recovered, not shot. So in the 30 seconds, that'll likely be the biggest boon for Mirage that's sitting in their pocket. Naira moved on into Moto, exchanging some shots with Monster Girl inside of blue, but it's Cavi to get the first kill on the side of Mirage. She sends out the C4. Her second follows soon after. Diffuser dropped inside the site. She knows Keisho's there, and now the ace is on 25 HP. Javi's just playing whack-a-mole right now behind this bomb chassis while Tex finds one. The diffuser's gone uncovered. It's a triple for Cavi, and diffuser in her hands. Ace territory, potentially. She falls at the quad, but it's still Monster Girl in the 1v1. The clock's hit 000. Tex can't fall off. She could, but it'd be the round lost, and Monster Girl has just enough time to stab her in the back. Not an ace from Cavi, but still a 4K, and the biggest player from Mirage in that round.
That was huge. They were coming down to the last minute for Homeland to make that work. They had the man advantage. They had the personnel to make that happen, but unfortunately, they come short on that execute. Running into Cavi playing church, and Cavi playing it so well, waiting behind the bomb trap. The C4 is one, downs another behind it, denies the plant multiple times. They didn't have the necessary coverage in that second plant, and unfortunately at that point it's a 1v3 for the last person of Tex trying to get that plant down. So really on Cavi, great hero plays from her.
That is the only site that Mirage have won. They have only won basement, one of the first round, and now they've won it the 5th. Of course, this is only the final round, so they're looking to guarantee themselves a 3-3 half, and for the side of Homeland, they've already got those 3 rounds. But we're moving to CCTV. These rounds, they were solid from Mirage, especially that second one, which again, as we said earlier, just came down to the final 5 seconds. So this is not at all said and done. Not at all said and done from Mirage. The setup looks strong overall. Homeland spent a lot of time trying to open these walls. Whereas they opened Plat Wall previously at about a minute, it took them, I believe, almost 2 that go-around. They had to rotate Tex over to nade over the wall and destroy the bandit batteries, and they didn't even get Con Wall. It just came down to Homeland jumping in through CC window, jumping in and moving in through doorways, and gunfights going their way. But overall, it still was a regression in terms of their overall setup and execute that second round. And if Mirage are even able to recapture half or at the same level of their play as they did last time, it could go better. But now they've done a lot worse than they have in the previous, at least in terms of the first 15 seconds.
Wasn't Galeen the Rafters players too? So now Monster Girl has to rotate to Garage. Now they have to move members over to accurately take control, to keep control of these territories they need to. And last time too, like the big thing was the fact they lost that, that first kill, which gave the prospect from Mirage to win the round, just because they lost it to Cavi playing inside a Master. I'm not sure if this time it's going to go the same way. They're joining Cavi once again, and I think that's a big thing. This time it looks like they're a lot faster in destroying these bandit batteries. Kisho's going to get this wall open very quickly compared to the round before this. And at this point too, they're going to rotate, and Kisho goes down though on the way up on the rotate. Monster Girl's waiting and ready to down Kisho. That's still probably not a kill, but still that's damage done and still time wasted. And Cavi here playing Bedroom is going to be all of the boon here to try and waste time as much as possible.
Her and Victoria will reassume their positions, and Tex will push in from Logi just like she did last time, but it's not as successful. She puts Cavi to 1 health, but the C4 flies out, does 50 damage, and will likely dissuade her from retaking that engagement. Strona's rotated over. Tex and Strona were the same ones that cleared out this position last time, and the intel still at their disposal. Z-ping on Cavi's exact position. She hasn't moved too far. They have intel as well. Tex's exact spot, known to the Jaeger, might try to land the pre-fire, but Tex and Strona have both rotated and pinch out the Jaeger. Victoria seems like in deja vu from the first time Mirage defended CCTV, will have to rotate back without a C4. Still have some denial in their pockets. Tabby has 3 toxic canisters, and Monster Girl has a C4 of her own. But Homeland are looking to on the same trajectory as that first round, where they were able to open up plat wall quickly, clear out the roam at little cost to themselves. Now with Monster Girl, if she uses the C4 and it doesn't go anywhere, looks like it's just pre-placed waiting for Conwall to open, but still, Homeland, they're on the same trajectory they had to their first CC win.
Last time, too, big thing was the fact that during these mid rounds was the aggression from Mirage to try and even up the mid personnel count to making sure that, you know, Homeland don't easily make this happen. But it looks like they're trying to use the grenades to destroy the bandit barriers. That grenade goes long, can't destroy it. Second one comes in from Tex, can't destroy the banners this time. And it looks like shoot this time, yep, goes through. The smoke canisters being brought to try and delay it, but the wall's still not open, so a bit of a waste from Tabby. Monster Girl has that pre-place dog. One of the pre-plays got destroyed by those grenades, though. And Victoria in a precarious spot to get aggressive and win a fight. And unfortunately, does not down them. The P shooter of MPX does not get the kill onto Dire. But there's at least a refrag from Monster Girl, peeking down red. Great shots from Monster Girl. At this point, Tabby, out any canisters left, as trying to die. They smoke Tabby out. She has no clue what's going on. They push into sight. They have good intel, though. Looks like they have a Valcam in sight to give intel to these last 2 players on Mirage so they can make this retake happen. But with the plant down, there's 4 players in 4 different positions. It's just wait for the push from Monster Girl and Tabby. This is not looking good for them. They have to play so far out. Tabby looks out the plat, can't find any kill there. Keisha's just waiting for someone to work it through. Strona gets a kill on the Monster Girl. So now as Tabby comes from red, 1 down, comes out, kills Strona. A player behind it, playing inside of construction will get finish him off, and that's another win for Homeland.
I think they have 4-2 as well on Clubhouse Attack, a strong point for them to be certain. And a lot of that game was, whereas before in Mirage's previous series against SH, the roam worked out quite effectively. They started losing ground once the other team started clear out the roam, and their aggression was not nearly as felt. Seems to be a similar pattern for Homeland here. On their CCTV defenses, Cavi and Victoria are either cleared out, pushed back, or one and the other in tandem. They've been cleared out every single time. And while it's come down to the wire, that's still what got Homeland off to the right foot. Of course, you had that one round in, I believe it was round number 3, where it took them a lot longer, but it's clear that was a fluke. And overall, on that site, Homeland's attacks were clinical. And that went for a lot of their other sites as well, save for Basement, where they struggled the most. CCTV and Gym. CC was gone 3 times, and Gym has only gone once, and it's clear that those were their well-practiced sites when it came to attack, or at the very least, where Mirage's defenses were the weakest. Now they're moving to the defensive half, and if at least 2 of their sites are just as well practiced as their attacks were, this should be the series.
I definitely agree. Homeland is showing their intel a lot better here on on Clubhouse, and they're showing, you know, their strats on attack were great though. They, like you said, that CCTV cache stick was clinical. They were playing it well versed. I knew what they were doing. And it looks to be, I'm interested to see how well versed are they on attack here on Clubhouse. Interested to see the Captain. We don't see Captain very often, but he can be clinical and very helpful and take control. Rafters take control, denying a ban trick if that's gonna happen too. But it looks like there's no ban trick. It's just a mute being brought to try and waste time.
Have spotted Tex on the Jaeger, playing just at the bottom of garage, right below the rafters. Inside of lounge as well, she's rotated, spotted by a second drone, so at the very least she's destroying utility. Takes the long-range gunfight with Tabby, and it doesn't go her way. Finished off, opening pick going to favor of Mirage, and you've only lost the Jaeger, so it's not the worst thing ever. A C4 flies out, but it gets a whole lot of nothing. And that's what Mirage, or at the very least, sorry, Homeland having this round. Not much of anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of aggression here, a lot of peaks here from the side of Homeland. They don't go their way. Keisho gets though 1 back to tail. Cavi looks like on plat wall where that kill was, maybe at the garage door, but still that's 1 back to try and even it up because it's not looking good for Homeland. So 2 minutes left to go through. There's so much time for Mirage to make this attack happen. They've gotten 2 picks on their side. And now they gotta try and find the way. What is the next plan for them? Are they gonna take control of Rafters, or are they going for, they're going for that construction takeover like you've seen from Homeland? Looks like they're joining a garage, looking to take control and deal with Kisho, has gotten that first kill, the only pick so far this round for the side of Homeland.
Show just putting more and more magnets down on those raptors, spotted by a drone, but we haven't seen much progression from Mirage over the course of this round. Galeen sitting outside a plat wall, trying to find the angle onto Kisho, but the Wamai's playing it safe. Not eager to give up her life, just like Dyer and Tex did at the beginning of the round. Mirage have now rotated down below, and I was going to say they rotate over to Khan, but it's still fairly disparate and spread out, though maybe that's what they need. Attackers placed, or or at least, yeah, attackers placed in every single position to try to catch the defenders off guard. Kisha will finally be found on plat wall, and it's just a 2v4 for both Snow and Strona. Prox alarm rings out, indicating there's someone down inside of Lounge. Intel as well to show with the players sitting down there. But Homeland, they just have to wait at this point. That's about their only option. Strona has toxic canisters she can use to burn. Snow has the Alda and good positioning on top red to catch any attacker on the funnel through. But beyond that, it's on Mirage to set the pace, and it appears to be a pace Homeland can't keep up with. Strona, the only one left, she joins her teammates soon after. It's a fairly strong round for Mirage to start things out, as Homeland didn't seem to have much of an answer for either aggression or playing reserved.
Yeah, it was interesting. There was no aggression from Homeland. It was aggression, but it was just like these very odd peaks coming from Homeland, and it was Mirage that were taking advantage every single time, taking those kills and making sure that they even finish up, doing the checklist. They didn't open up construction even at that point. They were just going through the motions and finding kills left and right from Homeland, making it pretty easy for them to finish the round out.
Homeland will try CCTV once again, and a big factor there is, of course, you had both Tex and I believe it was Dyer on the mute. Tex and Dyer were the ones that gave their lives away, and honestly, in a position like that, Tex, I understand. Tex just got pinched out, but with that position, I understand what they were going for there. You're trying to hold Lounge to aid the Wamai inside a garage. She's got caught out. I think Dyer might need to rotate back to side a little bit. She was playing on the mute all the way down in the basement, likely playing for a C4 from below, but it was a position where once Tex falls, she's kind of cut off unless she opts to rotate back up main. So if she does play that position again, that should be the goal. Rotate back up main if Tex or your Lounge pressure falls. But either way, it might just be a safer bet just to chill on the site, use your C4, and if the roam still collapses, you'll have Snow, Strona with the toxic canisters, and then a C4 as well that you could try to rotate from below. I think just kind of playing it a little bit further back for right now, letting the setup do the talking might be Homeland's best bet.
Yeah, it seems like Homeland are playing this more of the chess, playing this a lot more, reserved, and they're waiting for those pushes. So they do need to be, wary of their lives in those situations where they're trying to make it maybe a 5v5 with, maybe a minute left or something like that, trying to waste time. So they should be, trying to just waste time and trying to make Mirage work for it. Make Mirage work for their pushes into site, into garage, into, maybe the construction into site. C4 is, so yeah, it looks like there's on red stairs is one, and Tex playing again over by Lounge, playing between Lounge and garage. Playing in swap, as you call it. And so at this point, I wonder if Mirage are going to jump in here like last time, because they were able to push right into Secret, and there it is, Cavi pushing right in, pre-finding the door, seeing somebody pushes it, but nobody's there for the moment. It seems to be a cross between Tex and Dyer, so I wonder if this Tex is going to go work out, though, because they're trying to cover each other. Drones come through to see who's where, and I wonder if they've identified both those players.
At the very least here, there's safe space for Dyer to rotate. Not so much for Tex if the attackers opt to go garage door, but even then, she still has Kisho on top rafters, and so far, the roam is somewhat cleared, but both players are still alive. Dyer's rotated back, Tex still down below to aid Kisho, and as we saw from Mirage last time, they didn't push garage all too heavily. They relied on Galeen on Platwall to clear out the Wamai, as the Zofia just held the angle and the Wamai gave herself up to a gunfight. But here, if Mirage take that same strategy, having both Tex and Kisho holding above and below respectively could be a dangerous combination. Once they have that map control, Dyer could rotate back down and go for a C4. Just depending on how Mirage decide to take it in the final minute and a half. But if that has gone undealt with, that could be the big factor for Homeland.
Yeah, Mirage at this point looks like they're rotating after getting platform open again. They're going for that construction take, and there's no aggression from this side of Homeland. So they should have no problem taking control of this side of the wrap and then opening that wall up. And at that point, it's going to be up to, the indirect denial here from the side of Homeland to make sure they can, deny Mirage from pushing on site, or if Mirage can get those picks and make this attack happen. Because it looks like, yeah, Mirage right now are setting up, trying to wait for any push. And it looks like, oh, Victoria takes heavy damage from, was that a breach charge from a friend? Yeah, it looks like that was a breach charge from a friend, dealing heavy damage to Victoria, but she's gonna get the wall open, and we're gonna see how exactly Homeland does on this, just sitting and bunkering and taking fights as they come through.
Again, no one from Mirage has cleared out down below. Garage control still in their hands. Tex down below. Dire looking to rotate down red. It's still the opening pick to go the way of Mirage. Galeen finds Keisho once again a bit later on, and, well, at least in terms of the kills, a bit earlier, as Keisho's the first to die this time. Only 30 seconds left, and Mirage are still opening con. Maverick is not exactly the most speedy of hard breachers. You have to take your time, and this gives a prime spot for Mirage, or sorry, Homeland, to sit, wait, and try and take and win some gunfights. Cavi falls, Tex equalizes, punishes the Ashe for her play, and now this is all on Homeland. Tex picks up her second as Galeen moves on in. She ends her reign of terror. The site is now hers, or at the very least half of it. Snow tries to recover. Strona punishes Zofia. It's now Tabby left, 2 seconds left. With the pistol, she finds one, but there's Dire down below. Doesn't even have to do anything. Homeland Nova, they move up 5-3, and it's that downstairs pressure to be the last thing we see in their victory.
I think it was huge to the fact that, again, Mirage played it. Homeland had the were picked off first, but Mirage taking too long, allowing for Homeland to understand, hey, we can play a bit aggressive. And he said downstairs, Tex going down, getting a kill, and causing confusion, causing really Mirage to have to really figure things out. I believe they couldn't get the mute gem off the construction wall, which, you know, had to have the Maverick of Tabby go to work and try to open that wall up. But again, it takes so long. There's no time left, and they have to make things happen. So people push in. You saw at least Galeen try to make things happen, walking from plat, gets one kill, but easily gets picked up by another playing red, and it's just back and forth. And more than anything, it's a Mirage. Time is everything.
Now they've won CC, we can see the second site in Homeland's pockets. Gym bedroom, not going down to basement just yet. Thankfully for Mirage, one good thing about this site is, especially nowadays, you don't have to clear nearly as much. It, of course, does depend a little bit on what Homeland are going for, but as we saw in the first half, usually you just open up jacuzzi, you try to open up bathroom, you get some angles down below, you get somebody on metal bow to watch inside a bedroom, and try and force a plant inside of gym. So they don't have to clear out nearly as much. Homeland could try to go for a CC and cash extension, but it's not a big factor anymore if Mirage go for that traditional style of take. But that's my worry, is if they don't. If they feel the need to clear out that CCTV cache extension, they might very well play into the hands of Homeland, stall themselves out, and if Homeland are able to play the cards right, recapture their success in the last round, and move on to match point. I think Mirage's best bet is just going for that jacuzzi wall push.
Yeah, definitely see what they do. Maybe they maybe even go below at some point. Maybe open up some below. But Cavi, yeah, Cavi's going below right now, pushing through strip. And if they can take control and deal with some of this utility from below, and make sure they can open up things appropriately, maybe you can take control of main stairs. It could be a good quick round from Mirage. Cavi walking in, looks like they're getting joined, and Galeen taking another angle with them so they can pair up and try and take control of main stairs. But there's one player coming down. It's Tex. No, Dire actually. Dire walking down as the Jaeger. I don't know if Cavi knows they're to the far left of they're looking towards the backside. Dire may die here, or Dire may get a kill. And oh, Dire, well, unfortunately, could not catch Cavi as they walk through into bar. She will go with a bit of damage to her, 25 damage done to her, walk through bar, but they know someone's on main stairs here, and they're using that, you know, that breach charge from below to try and destroy utility. Maybe even deal with mute jammers inside a bathroom.
I'm honestly amazed neither person died in that situation. Both just seemed to pass, and Dire saw the Ashe at the last second, but didn't do much beyond that 25 HP worth of damage, so that still favors Mirage. Ashe down below, you do have Dire on main who can contest, but both the Ashe and the Zofia, Cavi and Galeen, waiting for Dire to peek. This is a situation it seems like Mirage have the upper hand here, as Homeland don't have a lot of positions that they can actively counter upon. They have a C4, but since down below is held by the attack, Tex can't rotate down. She has to rely on the play on the site. They don't have any smoke, so they can't toss about 30 seconds worth of utility. It'll come down to them swinging and winning their gunfights and whatever little intel they have left. Galeen will try to make a play on main, but again, once again, Dire seems to evade those shots. Seems to be Teflon almost, just bullets bouncing off, not able to stick anywhere. Cavi will rotate up, and this might be the pinch to end all pinches as Galeen moves up. Cavi on the rappel. Dire whiffs the shots. The Zofia comes away with it, and Mirage come away with the man advantage. With main stairs control in their hand, and execute seems soon. But Keisho punishes Galeen for her angle, reads into the Zofia's positioning, but just as she read into Mirage, Mirage read back. Page flip, Keisho put on the floor. It seems the execute is all for naught at this point.
Back and forth we go, fight for fight. Kisho gets picked up though, and they're trying to take this control, but walk through those hallways quick is really dangerous business. Strona gets a kill on a monster girl. Tabby finishes off Kisho, and 30 seconds left to go. It's really a quick push here, and really what intel do Mirage have? A shotgun in Texas' hand is ready. She is ready to take someone out. Victoria is trying to go for that plant, but scared she getting a shot from the side. Oh, the rotate comes through, and not aware that Cavi playing on mid-stairs. Cavi gets one kill coming through. Oh, it's the Maestro kill. Maestro downs with the 16 seconds left to go. Victoria is down on the floor. It's Tabby and Cavi try and bring this back. Snow gets Snow to finish off Cavi though, and Tabby now by themselves. Victoria got picked up actually, so it's a 2v2 actually. Victoria with no HP, looking around the corner. The plant goes down, but Snow finishes off with the Alda, raining down bullets into the gym, finishes off Tabby, and Victoria with no HP left has got to try and hold this point. But the problem is, where can they go? It looks like Victoria's trying to go below, but is the time in their favor with the HP they have? Is there an angle for them to play off too? It looks like they're using the hatch probably to try and figure this out. Victoria slowly moves in. Strona and Snow looking left and right for Victoria, but where is she? She looks up and no, she's been spotted, and Strona will finish her off. It's a triple kill for Strona, and that's another defense win here for Homeland.
Match point as well, and overall from Mirage, it seemed like a solid attack throughout. They acquired the map control quickly. They were able to hold down the fort once the defenders tried to push them. They lost some bodies, but the trades were still going their way. But it was that evil eye gone unread just out or just next to master bedroom window. I'm sure you can see it coming up right there. No, actually, skip past it unfortunately, but it was in a bit of an awkward spot for Mirage to clear. It's going to be hard to push it from Gym because you're exposing yourself to those feed holes. If you try to get it from Metal Balk, you might have to bank a nade off the window or try and place it on the bed, and you risk overshooting it. And they never fully cleared out Logi. They managed to clear out Kisho, but they never actually acquired it. They didn't have people move inside of there, so they couldn't get an angle from that place as well. That was around Mirage. Got 85 to 90% of everything they needed, but it was that final 10 to 15% that they lacked. And it was that final 10 to 15% that ended up losing them the round.
That was quite a chaotic round. And as they go, first time for Homeland to go downstairs to Church and Arsenal for match points to finish up their map choice of Clubhouse, if they can at least. Let us see what they do, but this lineup doesn't seem to be a roam lineup. It seems like they're going to play close to chess. We've seen from Homeland. Looks like they favor playing, more defensively, wasting time for the attackers in Mirage. So Mirage at this point, we'll see how quickly they can drone out the map and figure out that there is no roamers, there's no aggression here from the side of Homeland. They can just make the way, down the stairs and push onto site and try and take walls open up these hatches, and go to work.
They'll also continue on with the Capital. It's
Never mind.
Okay. This is a bit of a risky play from Dire. Thankfully, I don't think... Oh, no. Two people spawned over there, but not able to land the shots. A bit of a hard angle, bit of a tight one as well, so... Not surprising, Dire came away with that, but good on you. You went for the aggressive play, and you've come back alive, so you can at least be happy with that. Sure, you didn't get a kill, but your life is the most important thing in this situation. But going back to what I was about to say, for Capital, if we're going to see it on any bomb site, it is usually CCTV to try and clear out those rafters, but Mirage have opted to bring her here, and Capital certainly still has his uses on this site. You always generally have someone playing at the bottom of blue behind generator. It's a great spot for Capital to send down his fire bolts and burn that player out of the position, but it also makes the utility burn that much more important because there's a Jaeger and Wamai on the board, the latter of which can catch those Capital bolts, and there's not that much burn on the side of Mirage. You might have some smoke grenades in the hand of Victoria. You also have those smoke bolts in the hand of Capital and the concussions on Galeen, but not many flashes. Frag grenades as well. You don't really want to risk losing those. And with how many ADSs and magnets they might have to clear depending on their positions, this could be tough for Mirage to get all the utility they want down.
Yeah, and so especially with Dire getting aggressive, it seems like that has caused Mirage to think that there's a roam and there's some kind of aggression, but Dire was the only one peeking, so Mirage at this point have to roam clear the entire map. They have to, drone out the entire map, make sure nobody's there, and that's wasted half the round doing so. So at this point, now they can finally go to work and open these hatches, and I wonder if they're going to spend the utility trying to push out Kiso, who's playing behind generator in blue. Look at that first, it was one of those heart-breaching gadgets on the blue hatch, but also walk away, and they're looking on Kitchen, trying to see if they can get any kills through Kitchen on anybody playing below. It's an Arsenal. So far, they've not found anything, and I wonder, is there an impact trick coming out? Looks like there is 2 impacts. I wonder if they're using it to try and impact trick anything put onto that Kitchen hatch.
50 seconds left. Dire does still have one of those impacts, though it's a bit of a risky position at this point now that we have the attackers inside of kitchen, but it's also a little bit risky if she's caught out, if she's a bit reckless. You see Tabby moving on in, though they now know that someone's there, and in fact, the Maverick is very nearly loses her life. 35 HP she remains at, and one player confidently sitting behind that deployable shield. 30 seconds left, and Dire's sheer existence, even if she dies, will waste so much time on this dirt push that she doesn't even have to peek. She just has to wait and force the Maverick to come to her. Continue, sees it, lands the headshot. A perfect, clean shot from the Wamai, and the opening duel in the final 20 seconds goes the way of the defense. The second one does as well. Keisho picks one up. It seems like an ill-fated rush. Kavi will push on down. The bomb on the floor. It's just Kavi with the coverage. She'll be moved on in. Will destroy the Evil Eye, so we won't have a repeat of last time. And oddly enough, the plant goes down successfully despite the situation. Victoria picks up one. Now she's sitting on the bomb like a mother hen. And Homeland don't quite know what to do. They're moving around. They certainly have the manpower. They can land the trades, and one will move up top. A strong position for her to land. Shrona, she transfers! I didn't even realize she picked it up! I didn't know she killed Victoria! She just sent them and smoked them off the face of the earth! It smoked them so hard, we're going to map 3!
What a round from Homeland. Working well, and again, this was Homeland's key strength. They're just wasting time, creating these great setups to make Mirage work for it. And so Mirage's big issue on the map was just time. Time and time again, Homeland worked well to just cause them to stress, waste utility, waste time, and not have enough time to really execute on the site without a rush into the gunfire, into the gunplays of Homeland. So I'm great to see that. We're interested to see map 3. We're going to Oregon.
We are indeed going to Oregon. And one thing that, at least on Mirage's attacks, since it was the most recent, it wasn't like their attacks were failing at every single point. Usually Mirage would do at least half of their job, of their strategy, well. For example, on their CCTV clear, they were able to clear out the site. They were able to clear out some elements of Rome, but they left some people down below that ended up biting them. On basement, they were able to deal with a lot of the roam, but of course they wasted some time, but they weren't able to deal with anyone on the site. And so once they pushed in, there wasn't much they could do because they weren't able to clear them out. Going to map 3, just to make sure I have my sides right, I'm just want to check, just want to make sure. Mirage are starting on the defense, so at the very least they have some times to work up an advantage. But once they switch to those attacks, Oregon is a map where you can't leave some parts of the site undealt with. Say you're on a site like basement, if you don't clear out freezer, depending on the push you're going for, that could stop you from that position alone. So while Mirage, they are starting on defense, switching to those attacks, that's one of the big things they need to fix, is properly clearing out every aspect of the strat they need to, and not letting a couple key players go unnoticed.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if maybe that Villa issue for Homeland, of that early intel comes to play, and they have an issue with early, droning early intel for them, because that was a big thing for Homeland, was they weren't properly droning people out in the beginning, and caught off guard in certain roam aspects from the side of Mirage. So we'll see what happens, though. I'm definitely interested to see exactly what the difference is and what exactly teams have, learned in these past 2 maps and what they're going to bring to Oregon.
And on the bright side as well, at least in terms of those attacks, which it just appears we're just going to be talking about that for a little bit now. In terms of those attacks, you don't have as many things to do. Not a lot of soft destruction on Oregon. Funny enough, the site that kind of has the most, or one of the most, is Norms, and that's from below, and you don't often see soft destruction from below. So with those attacks, you don't have to focus nearly as much on other aspects. It's a lot more linear, a lot more confining, and that is both a blessing and a curse. But as you mentioned, the big thing we want to see here, Homeland struggled with that early intel on Villa. Mirage struggled with that early intel on Clubhouse. Now going to map 3 of Oregon, whoever is able to solve that problem might very well come away with the series. But don't go anywhere. I'm Lynx. I'm Benny. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes after this short break. All right, everybody, welcome back. If you missed map number 2, well, honestly, both have been fairly one-sided today. Map number 2, Homeland Nova's picks seemed to be strongly in their favor, and they ended up winning at 7-3. And now, move on to Oregon to see who will be the first team eliminated from CCSW. Will it be Homeland Nova? Will it be Mirage? For Mirage, it would kind of suck if both of their series ended up resulting in them winning map 1, but then losing the next 2 maps. It'd be kind of a what if
That's
sort of
kind of feels
storyline.
bad, man. Feels bad.
It is a, Benny, I think it's a great. It is a feels bad man moment, I think, is the literal definition of that.
Yeah, it's been great though. Seeing these teams play their maps pretty well. They both, we saw Mirage play Villa very well against Homeland. Homeland taking the clubhouse, and Homeland played a lot better in that map compared to Villa. They could drone it out. They knew what they were doing. They had some clinical takes, and they had some great defenses. So I'm interested to see who exactly has played Oregon more, and if has this team played? Oh wait, has either team played Oregon in the past series? Or no?
Yeah. Homeland Nova in the past series, that was the map that they lost to Disrupt, if I'm correct. I can check if you want, just to make sure, because
Yeah.
I get scared sometimes. I'm like, what if I'm wrong? Who
What
knows?
if I'm
You ever have those moments you're casting and you just say something and you're like, wait, what if it's wrong? What if I'm wrong?
Yeah,
but no,
yeah.
it was map number 2 was Oregon, and Homeland Nova ended up losing that, I believe 7-3, might have been 7-4, but either way 7-3, 7-4. So Homeland Nova have played this in the past, and did result in them getting a loss. And we did have map 3 of Oregon between Mirage and SH. SH won that. Mirage lost that as well. So both teams have played Oregon once and lost it to both respective teams that they played a couple weeks ago.
Both teams are not the greatest in Oregon. I wonder if they've done their homework or maybe have improved over the past time where they played it. It's interesting to see if they knew they were going here, if maybe this is out of the blue or something they didn't expect.
Well, either way, both teams obviously, both teams losing the map isn't the best, but Brimstone brought this up before the show started. Even though they've lost Oregon, it's still a map that they're likely relatively comfortable on. Maybe not as comfortable as, say, other maps in their map pool, but it's a map that is played so often, especially at, especially, I was even going to say below T1, but even in T1 as well.
Yeah.
Overall, all over North America, it is a map that is played all the time. So
Yeah.
even if they're not the most well practiced, even though they've lost, this should still be overall pretty comfortable for them, even if that's the case.
Yeah, hoping this is a close match because both maps so far have been just, one-sided affairs, map 1 and map 2. So hoping that Oregon's, a bit closer and both teams can put up a good fight and show us that they maybe learned up and played a lot better compared to, maybe last week. We'll see. We'll see the bans first, though. I'm assuming the bans are getting pretty similar to Clubhouse. You're going to ban out Thatcher most likely and then ban out a Heart Breacher. It's usually what you see in Oregon.
Pretty much what you see on every side or every map, it feels like at this point. Thatcher ban, then a Hard Breach ban, maybe a Maverick, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see the same on Oregon. Of course, it's up to Mirage to decide whether they start things off on a normal note or maybe throw a curveball at us. They'll go with the former. It is that Thatcher ban to start things out, and it being Oregon, I wouldn't be surprised if Homeland Nova follow up with a Hard Breach, but in all likelihood, I would guess a Maverick. That'd be my guess personally.
Could be. Habana's a ban too. There's quite a bit of hatches on this map too, so Habana could also get banned. But yeah, I think it would be Maverick. But maybe we'll get surprised or something totally different. It's a Jackal actually. Finally,
There we
surprised.
go.
There is something to help out with that. Aggression is off the board. So maybe Homeland at this point are going to play more aggressive compared to the last 2 maps.
And on top of that, while Mirage have not been running a lot of Jackal on their attacks, they still on map number 1 were very, very well versed and adept at that roam clear. So minimizing what tools they could bring, that's a good idea. Mira also banned as well. Another operator, as we mentioned before, she gets banned on pretty much every map at this point, whether or not she is useful or literally useless, but she's not useless on any map, and she's certainly not useless on this map. Taking her out, it's comfort pick. Same with the Valkyrie. Though opposed to Mira, Valkyrie is useful on pretty much every map, and it ranged from strong to incredibly strong. So her banned out right here, and with how much intel you could get at your disposal, because Oregon, as I said earlier, right before we went to the break, Oregon is a very tight map. Oregon is not the biggest map in terms of spaces you can play in. About the biggest space, open space, is maybe meeting, and even then, that's not very big. So one cam, you could very well cover a lot of areas, either off visual or audio cues. So taking Valkyrie off the board, smart decision.
Yeah, I think the text on Nomad too is a big one here. There's a lot of it's almost like Villa where there's a lot of lanes you can go through, and I think Nomad being very strong here would be pretty good for them. And I wonder if Mirage, how aggressive they're going to be. We're going upstairs to kids and dorms first for our first defense from Mirage, and this site is very much usually you take control of either games or attic, and you push in from those angles, and you take control of those sites and push in either kids, push in the games, go for a plant, or you take control of big window, you go below, or you go white stairs, you make your way onto site that way while trying to deal with people and kids. So I'm interested to see exactly what is going to be Homeland's decision on their attack here. What are they going to take control? What are they going to try and deny? And for Mirage, what is their setup? Are they going to put a lot towards maybe towards trophy, towards master bedroom, or are they going to play a more aggressive hold? They're going to be downstairs, maybe C4 from below, or waiting to take on fights with Homeland.
Well, one decision that Homeland has made is they've opted to bring the Yana. She's an operator that has gained quite an increase in pick rate, but throughout this series, both teams have seemed to prefer the Ashe a little bit more, keeping with those breach charges and her secondary utility. Yana is an operator with great primary utility and great secondary utility. Again, that clone, those nades, and the Gon 6 as a secondary provides a lot, not only in terms of utility, but also in entering or either first or second entry with her kit overall. So Homeland bringing her out indicates that they might be getting a little bit more aggressive. You won't have to worry about your drones. You have a regenerating drone you can send on in with a player behind her. In all likelihood, maybe Keisho on the Zofia, but could be anybody. Try and gain intel and pinch out any of the roamers or any player playing a bit too far off the site, which, I want to talk about examples, could be Victoria playing inside a Wolf.
Well, there's a good lineup here from Kiso to get rid of that mute jammer on the game's wall. So there's a setup already, but Victoria, like you said before, playing right here in Trophy. Yeah, you talked about the Yana playing a crucial role, maybe trying to drive Victoria out from this position. I believe it's also pushing playing Armory too. So this is that aggression from Mirage, and we'll see exactly how does Homeland deal with these players. Cammy playing instead of Armory here, waiting for a push. She has a cover from Victoria, and I believe a player below her too, and Monster Girl with probably a C4 in hand. So there's a lot of resources put on this side, and these fights are big. There comes a Yana clone, come to stairs. Already shot though. Cavi shoots that Yana clone. They have information now, but what can they do with the information?
At the very least, know that the Jaeger is playing inside of Armory. Of course, Keisho likely already knew that. She was upside down rappel on that window. She has now rotated over, but I imagine she was well aware of the Jaeger's position before that Yana clone even came up the stairs. Minute 30 in, and Homeland haven't acquired all that much in terms of map control, walls opened. They've just been sitting outside the building, so now outside a big window, but inside of Attic, well, actually inside of Attic is where they've made the most progress, and it is quickly reversed. Tex, I wouldn't even say Tex gets a little bit testy. Tex just tried to hit a rotate, and Dire, unfortunately, her pre-fire landed up right when the Nomad crossed. A C4 as well. She gets punished, and I suppose what could be karma coming back to bite her. I'm not entirely sure, but it is a pick in the favor of Mirage. And now that Attic push, which was really the only major point of Homeland's attack that was working out, completely collapsed. Outside of bedroom, they haven't been able to open much. They've been able to clear out the utility down below, but not actually entry into the site beyond that. Now they're going in for a play down at the bottom of white, but that's exactly where Monster Girl is playing, and it doesn't appear that they have the intel in her position. They're aiming on down because, of course, they do. There's always the potential for someone to play the spot. Now that Monster Girl's released some tracers, and just before that, Snow tried her pre-fire, they know that the Mozzie is down there. Keisho tried to push in the site, but since nothing's been cleared out, Tabby's free to swing and take her life. Finally, one kill will go the favor of Homeland. It's Monster Girl to fall, but Homeland, as I've said time and time again, they don't have anything. All they have is this 5-second white stairs push, and they just don't have anywhere to get the bomb down, don't have any angles to play off of, don't have any rounds. This is Mirage, but the only one so far.
So again, unfortunately, the team kill at the beginning is huge, but I think the big thing is the fact that like intel is huge here. So the early intel being a bit inefficient, not knowing that Mirage had put so much resources into that Armory, Trophy side, and Master Bedroom, and then knowing that Monster Girl below the C4 to help them deny that Attic take was huge. So at that point, that by the time they had to rotate for a white stairs, big window take, by that time they had lost 2 members, lost their attacks, lost their utility, and fortunately they walked right into the last minute indirect utility from Smokes. They had a play from below C4. They had players playing still behind bunks and waiting for the push from Kiza, who just walks through big window, and they could not deny that that bunks position in the corner. So unfortunately for Homeland, they just were a bit too inefficient with their time and with their information.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bomb.
Now moving on down. I almost said basement, but it is kitchen and meeting. I just saw the sites where they were. I was like, oh, it's you get in the routine. It's Oregon. You're like, oh, they're probably gonna go basement. But no, Mirage instead have decided to go for that tertiary bomb site. This is another site that has a roam and an extension up top. And Homeland, they didn't exactly clear out the extension all too well last time, and now this is one with a lot more dedicated utility. They already had a lot, at least Mirage did, in defending Victoria. They had that Aruni Gate, that deployable shield, and an ADS or two. Now up top, you don't have the Aruni, but you do have some castle barricades, probably a mute jammer as well, and depending on where Tabby opts to place it, maybe even a deployable shield. I wouldn't think that, but you do still have those castle barricades, some reinforcements, and likely some ADSs as well. So Homeland on here, it wasn't even a lack of intel, it was just a lack of, I don't want to say effort, because it looks like they tried. It's just they didn't really seem to have an idea of where they wanted to push from, and they'll find the same bit of trouble here if they're not able to make those adjustments. They will bring a Flores, so they do have something to take down potentially these mute jammers or everything else, but it's going to depend on the individual play to fix their problems as opposed to the lineup.
I definitely agree. It's gonna be really dependent on what they can do here, and what if they can figure out the intent here. If they can figure out, like, a common place to put, to attack upstairs. This is almost like they're attacking the same site. They're attacking upstairs to deal with these players on site. It's very similar to attacking last round upstairs here. And Strone is gonna be the first one in. Is gonna destroy this barbed wire. Figure out what they're gonna do, and if they're gonna open up, maybe wake up this attic wall, walk in and take fights on the people inside of attic, inside of kids. Maybe have Keisha go for a, push in his rear well, but the information is big here, and I don't know if they know Keisha was pre-firing into games, and I wonder how the information gathering is going for Homeland. It looks like they're pre-firing into that wall, because half the wall is half the wall is soft. So it's definitely someone from the side of Mirage waiting to take fights, and if they jump into that big window, but no way from that, but it's doing that, and Galeen is looking to take fights in person trophy, pre-firing it, but not finding it for the moment.
Doesn't need to find anything just yet. Galeen, at the very least, just has to sit and waste time. Doesn't have to worry all that much about swinging, especially if Homeland appear to be just getting in their own way. Keisha will vault in a big window, take a little bit of damage from a shotgun, though not dead. Tex will also take some damage, this time from a C4, and down from below, Keisha is currently playing the floor as lava. Meanwhile, the rest of the defense is just playing the waiting game. Now the push on inside of attic, well, it actually goes their way. I was going to say, still a bit slow, but they found Galeen. But it's taken a minute and about 45 seconds to do so, and that's a big issue. You've acquired this control on top, but how are you going to transition it? That's the question, because now the defense has moved down. They still have a C4 in their pocket, so they're able to deny the plant, as well as those smoke canisters, and Homeland are just holding their angles right now. They have some time, but a kitchen execute can prove to be a little bit difficult. It's gonna be a lot harder if you don't have that nades or those Yana clones for late round intel or destruction. Good shot by Victoria, threading the needle through the hatch, but Homeland, they are going for this kitchen push. It will require likely taking out the person inside of security. Keisha might not be the person to do it. She's on 1 HP, so she'll get on drone, and likely try to have Tex, or that's Dire. Yeah, Tex or Dire clear it out, but no, not just yet. Flores drone getting set out. X-Kairos on the wall. Can she open them up? Yes, she can, actually. So there won't be a little bit more denial. But here are those smoke canisters. 2 more Tabby has. That's 20 seconds total to waste the time of the attack, as all they really have is some top control, which is strong, but they can only funnel in through this wall. Tabby will send out the second. It blows up. Tech still finds the kill, but Tabby lands the refrag. That's Diffuser, picked back up by Snow, but she's planting right in front of the shield. Tabby doesn't even know. She's sitting right there over. She just spots him at the final seconds, able to thread the needle. Downs the planter on the floor, picks up their second round. That was a bit close, not gonna lie, but it's still a Mirage round in the end.
What a round from the side of Mirage, able to waste so much time upstairs, and it was a good first pick from Homeland, but still the time was huge. They're not able to get the kill, not able to get the picks they needed, and not able to get time in that roam clear, caused them to try and just really funnel into a kitchen take, opening up that wall, pushing right in, and just kind of really going for a push. But the smoke canisters is huge there. Having those smoke canisters in the last dying seconds of the round, so that you can just deny them from planting behind this pillar like you usually do. So it causes someone to just run up to the deployable shield and try to plant by the deployable shield. And at that point, it was a smoke of Tabby to finally see them in front of the deployable shield, shoot them to the little crevice between the deployable shield and the wall, and stop the round right there.
That would have been extremely funny if the plant was going to go now right in front of her and she didn't land it. But again, good play by Tabby overall in holding down the site. And once again, Homeland have seemed to lack a lot of what they need to go for that execute. They decided to push from kitchen, which is not at all common anymore. More often than not, those executes come over on meeting side. You open that stage wall, get the bomb down on stage, and that's usually the take we see. Just to give her a percentage, probably 3/4 of the time. Might be overestimating a bit, but still, it is the vast majority of takes. Kitchen is not a site that gets a lot of love, and for the reason you saw, you have top control, but once you open that wall, it's a little bit hard to push in. Basement is a site that I wouldn't say it's similar, but it's something where you need to clear things out. There are some takes where if you don't have the necessary control, it can come back to bite you. For example, freezer pantry execute or freezer laundry execute. If you're lacking freezer, you can end up losing it. If you're going for a back take, if you're lacking pillars control, you'll likely end up losing that. And that's where Homeland have struggled so far, is getting those pieces of map control most critical to their take. And for basement, it's a site where you can't slack. You cannot be lackluster. You have to take every aspect that you need.
It's also interesting too because they're going for an upstairs take, to take control of kitchen, and they're trying to make their way in a site. Unfortunately, they don't have like the necessary soft destruction to open the floor.
That's
to
also true.
deny
There was no
people on
sledge
site.
there.
Yeah, there was no sledge. There's no bucks. So like the person like Tabby playing behind pillar inside of kitchen stayed there for the entire round because there was no soft destruction tonight. There was the Flores drone from Tex, but that Flores drone unfortunately was a bit too slow or a bit too off to destroy the shield. If they destroyed the shield, of course, they would still be able to plant the diffuser because they were getting smoked out. But the fact of that, at least they can push that shield off and they maybe take a fight with Tabby and kill her while they go for that plant. So unfortunately, it just seems like maybe a bit of oversight from Homeland not to know exactly how to take these sites or what to go for. Because like you said before, most time when they go for that site, they open a big tower, they make their way into stage, and they go for that plant. It seemed like that maybe would have been a better plan than going for a kitchen in that lineup.
The one culprit I will say that might be the reason is Flores. Not that Flores is a bad operator by any means. He's a very good operator, but Flores can sometimes restrict the take you can go for. Flores is very powerful in horizontal play, not very powerful in vertical play. So for going for a take like meeting room, you could use that Flores drone on stage wall, but that's a lot of the utility you're going to get out of it. You want to push horizontally when you use that operator. And on a site like meeting, you have to clear out that roam. You usually hold up top and hold the flank inside of attic and then go for that plant. A site like basement, Flores lends himself really well to. You're not as constricted in your styles of take as you are on a site like kitchen. Since the site is basically you pushing down a series of staircases and hallways, Flores has a lot he can deal with, one of which being that shield right there. Most of the utilities all placed on this first floor, and you can drive right on in the first 30 seconds, destroy the shield the Galeen is playing in front of, and make her position inside of pillars a lot more tenuous.
Yeah, they show the first shield pointing towards from, pillar into blue, but there's still another shield over in the corner over by, elbow and blue. They can destroy that shield too, which looks to be here, but there's also two ADSs, which is actually both get destroyed. And a lot of damage. The monster go through that Vulcan shield, explodes in their face, but they're going to let reinforcements UGC teams do, as they're trying to just waste as much time as possible and waste utility on the side of Homeland. So Homeland at this point is going to be a blue take, going to open up into probably take control of pillars. Like I said before, territory control is huge. Taking control of these key spots is big for Homeland. So if they can take control of pillar, take control of blue and elbow, open up those walls into sight, take control, open the single wall and electrical as well, it's going to be huge for them. That's what they need to do here for Homeland. It looks like they're trying to do as much as possible, but so far with a minute and 20, not a lot has been done.
Do a little bit more to take pillars control. They'll open up that wall, but Cavi's still sitting inside of there, relatively undaunted by the attacking team. Players moving down those big tower stairs, sitting on the landing, so it's not like Homeland lacked the positioning to deal with this. It's just a matter of physically moving in and clearing out the area. Flash is going in, full blinds Cavi in a difficult spot right now if anybody decides to push, but aided by Galeen, I doubt the attackers will. In fact, Cavi will even rotate back up. She'll walk right into a flashbang, blind herself once again. A nade lands at her feet, but she manages to escape alive, albeit on low HP, mostly thanks to the bullets tagging her on the way out. And Keisho might be some excellent game sense right there, reading where Cavi was rotating and nailing her through the wall. Final minute, Homeland come away with the first pick, and they've cleared pillars control as well. They've also cleared the spot, or cleared a player sitting on top of default on the push into supply. It's Galeen, but so the duo holding pillars together has now completely fallen. Time is looking good for Homeland to close things up. They've managed to push many of the defenders out over towards Laundry, but two big things they'll have to worry about are those toxic canisters, but the C4 from Victoria. She'll rip it, toss it on over. Will it get caught? I actually don't know. I think it might have gotten shot. No, it blew up. It did get caught on top of the bookshelf. So that was something that could have denied the plant, but now with the bomb down, this is difficult for Mirage to deal with. They don't have a lot of utility to try and seal this out. Monster Girl has a C4, but she's on low HP, so she can't exactly be not holding her gun out. She'll still throw it. It hits nothing. So now it's all on the gunplay and the positioning for Mirage to try to stop Homeland from gaining their first round. Tabby sends out a smoke as Victoria equalizes the man count. The Goyo's down, but Victoria pushes out. She's managed to find it as Tabby's sticking the plant. She might have the time. They can't push in. A 1v2, but I think a 3v4 total. Mirage, they stop it. They're still strong. A 3-0 on Oregon defense.
What a round from Mirage. Looking so good for Homeland. We talked about territory was huge, and they took control where they needed. They had the key points. They were able to get the plant down too as well, and it was a personal advantage for the side of Homeland. But Mirage taking fights, rotating through, elbow, rotating into the hallway, finding fight, taking control, and then allowing those fights, allowing for Tabby to smoke out electrical and go for the ninja disable, get it off, and win them the round. Huge for Mirage.
Also just great play by Tabby overall, staking that.
Attackers
Pros,
need to locate and
indeed,
defuse as
do
many
not
bombs
fake.
as they can.
Mirage completed the flawless cycle. They've won dorms, then kitchen meeting, then basement, in that order. So now they move up to dorms. This was the site where we first saw a big problem of Homelands, which was stalling out, not able to clear out that extension. And again, it's not like they don't have the tools to do it with. They have that Flores, who, again, on dorms, kind of like basement, since this map tends to go pretty horizontally, he's easily able to clear out those shields, clear out any hard breach denial, that sort of thing. You also have the Yana, who, going against the Aruni, can easily clear out those Aruni gates just with one drop of her Yana clone running into an Aruni gate, clears it out without much, if any, real cost in terms of utility. Homeland have the tools at their disposal, but it still is just physically moving on in and clearing them out. They had the push outside of master bedroom. They had the player repelled outside of armory, who then rotated the big window. But the only play that seemed to make progress was their attic push, and well, we know what happened there. It was a team kill and a C4 from below. So obviously, big thing there. Don't kill your teammate. But if
Don't
they're
shoot
able
your
to,
teammates, don't shoot your friends.
that's true. But if they're able to push on in, recapture their success there, if they just push in from even one more area, whether it's up armory stairs or up master bedroom, it's still and should look like a much better take overall.
It should look. It was like last time Attic was huge though, because they couldn't make it happen. It looks like Kisho's trying to deal with the shield, the facing towards master bedroom like last time. Unfortunately, it will not work out. And Kisho this one has one explosion left. Looks like they're saving that last explosion to destroy the mute jammer by Game's wall. And so far, the thing too is the fact that last time they had a Maverick who was able to get that Attic wall, but they don't have Maverick this time. They only have Tex on the Flores, which I guess if you use the Flores zone correctly, you can destroy that mute jammer. I don't know where the mute jammer is. Looks like it's going to be placed well enough, but no, it still mutes those drones from Flores drones. So R4C, those what was it, R4C drones or record drones?
I think well, I don't remember the exact acronym, but I know it's called Rotero drones.
It still can't destroy the mute jammer though, so unfortunately, it still can't get this wall open. And that attic push is a big part of making this master and attic push happen. They can't be one dimensional, and doing a games push and then doing a big window push is very too split up. So at this point, it has to be a rotate from the side of Homeland to make this happen.
And even then, even if they wanted to get that mute jammer from below, yeah, you can see Tex is forced to go down and shoot. Keisha's already used both of her impact lifelines. You hear the drone explode, so she actually might have landed it. Yeah, she has. So, bit unfortunate you wasted two of those drones, or at least one of those drones. But hey, you still opened the wall. That's what matters. Took a lot of time, though. Minute and 5 seconds left, and still players sitting inside of attic. It does appear to be a big window take, and one counter is the defense holding down below with an iron grip, and it appears to be what they're doing. Two members down below as Tabby dies on the site, so at the very least some semblance of the clear is working, but it starts to falter when Strona dies. Monster Girl, one of the players down below, that Mozzie with the C4, takes down the Yana. It's a 4v4, and down below still in their control. Up top might very well be in their control as well if Galeen continues playing like this. Tex falls, Snow put on the floor. It's just Keisha on Repel and Dyer as well, left into 2v4. She'll push in through Attic. Diffuser dropped inside. 30 seconds left in a tough spot to recover. A tough spot for Keisha as well. She'll spot the Jaeger, but still not much she can do to really counter this. All she can do is try to take the fight, but so many angles at the defense's disposal as opposed to the little control and little advantage Homeland have over Mirage. Keisha's now rotated the big window. She'll have to vault on in. It's the lesser of all evils, but she's still killed by the player down below. Dyer finally rotates back to Attic, but Galeen takes her down. An excellent repellent by Mirage to go up 4-0.
Mirage holding strong, creating those extensions is huge for them in Homeland, unable to deal with either extension or have the tools to quickly make their way and rotate through attic, or really the fact that they couldn't deal with extension, maybe they shouldn't have made for an attic push, but unfortunately they didn't have the tools to deal with extension, so it had to be a one-dimensional kind of attic push, and then a rush in from either windows or pushing big window for them. It's unfortunate for them they didn't have the tools necessary to make it quick, which I think the Maverick would have been nice to bring there, but maybe they didn't totally think that, they didn't think about in the end, or think whether or not they have to destroy a mute chamber below or go below with maybe Kiso as Zofia. But still, they made something happen. They tried to quick that attic push, but Galeen, standing strong inside attic, will take fight after fight and deny the attic push whatsoever.
Now Mirage will rotate back down to kitchen meeting, and this is a site where you can take it horizontally, but you have to have some semblance of vertical. And Homeland managed to clear out the roam up top, albeit it took a lot of time, but at the very least they cleared it out, which is farther than they've made, or farther progress than they've made in a lot of these rounds. So if they're able to do those steps just a little bit quicker, this is the round that I think they are most likely to win out of this one and the next, because they still managed to clear out Galeen playing up top, cleared out a lot of the utility as well, and now that Strona has rotated to the sledge, they have some soft destruction as well. The way Keisha's playing this, I think last time she brought Claymores instead of Breaches, and that's still what she's doing. So now that they actually have not only someone who's bringing soft breach, but someone dedicated to that role, of course they have to protect Strona. They can't just send her out alone to die and leave her hung out to dry. But now they actually have some capabilities of getting vertical control, stopping or getting coverage from above, and aiding your players in the kitchen execute will be so much easier.
Yeah, it's good to see Homeland, taking notes and adapting and knowing that in this push, if they're going to go for this play, they need to have a dedicated soft bridge to, drive out people like Tabby who are playing inside the kitchen, who are, one of the main reasons why they couldn't make the kitchen happen. But big thing first, it's going to be, again, this roam clear is big first, and I wonder how much is up here for them to clear. Looks like they're opening up this castle barricade, and there's not many people up here. Looks like Galeen's up here. Monster Girl is downstairs. Yeah, it's actually Cavi and Galeen playing attic by themselves. Nobody's actually in kids whatsoever. It looks like maybe Tabby's waiting for a shotgun blow if they push into kids. Maybe playing below, waiting for that angle. There's actually not a lot of people here. If they open up this attic wall, they could actually maybe even deal with both players straight up. If they open up both attic walls, both from Trophy and in Big Tower. So it looks like Strona's gonna make the way in. And so far, making their way slowly through. Strona looks like taking the fight with SB11. Great job from Strona to deal with Cavi. Another person addict though. Do they know the second person addict? Galeen sitting here, and I don't know if anybody's droned her out.
Galeen just ratting in a corner right now could very well be the saving grace for Mirage's run up top. No, Keisho has no idea. She's looking down the hatch. This is Galeen's world, and we're all living in it. Keisho falls. Galeen rotates back. A C4 for the fadeaway, but it doesn't find much. And sure, you wasted that C4, but you've still done a hell of a lot for your team in that round. You've scared Homeland. You've caught them off guard. You weren't able to take down the sledge, but you still were able to take down the Zofia. Those impacting concussion lifelines who could burn the ADSs or destroy a deployable shield. That's still less utility, and Homeland have to be careful with how they play this and how well they can use the utility game. They do still have the Flores, so a lot of burns still in their pocket, at least in destroying gadgets like Malusi Banshees or a deployable shield, that they haven't destroyed the one in the hands of Tabby. But with the roam cleared up top, still 50 seconds left. Homeland have to start moving back down. Monster Girl's got a flank completely unread by Homeland. They had no idea she was there. Slowly rotated up white. That's the Flores down. And Homeland, they're just getting picked off at every piece. One rotates up, fires some pot shots, takes the life of a vital Homeland member, rotates back down. In the final 30 seconds, it doesn't appear they have much of a response. Dyer put on the floor, not finished off, but still, at a time when the push seems all but stalled out completely, that's not what you want to face. Another body on the floor. Toronto rotate to pick her back up. So at the very least, we're back in a 3v4, but they're going for the same kitchen execute with barely any control on the site. They haven't opened up that kitchen wall. They'll just have to drop. At the very least, they have control upstairs, but angles can only do so much when you're also dropping into smoke canisters. Snow with the bomb falls. Dyer up above, the only person left. Strona has no idea where she's going. She's caught in a blender. She's downed as well. It's Mirage to move up 5-0. And match point within their grasp if they win the next round.
Huge from the side of Mirage, even though it was a roam clear once again from the side of Homeland, and they take control. They actually got that first big kill on from Strona onto, I believe it was Cavi playing inside Attic, but Galeen playing behind the mattress inside of Attic did not drone her out. And a big thing when we talked about was intel, droning out some of these sites and not being able to figure out that Galeen was playing there. Gets rid of the Zofia, puts it out even, and even with all of the vertical pressure, it still was a bit of a one-dimensional, or not really a lot of pressure put elsewhere. All that pressure was put upstairs inside of kids. They didn't go towards small tower to open up from from dining into kitchen. Nobody went into big tower, open up that wall either. They were peeking down the hatch, but even though peeking down the hatch, unfortunately, they were still losing those fights to Mirage. And in the end, it could not make much else besides they couldn't convert that vertical pressure into a real round win.
Here, once again, Basement, you don't have to worry about vertical pressure all that much, but what you do have to worry about is that Pillars player, and that's what Homeland, that was one of the big reasons they ended up winning that round. This was the closest attacking round for Homeland so far. It came down to a clutch by Mirage, where Tabby got on the diffuser, she stuck it as the other two members that were left alive, one of them being Victoria, just swung. Victoria got 2 kills of her own and wasted enough time and caused enough chaos where the defending or the attacking team simply did not even realize Tabby was on the plant, and by the time they realized it was too late and she stuck it. So Homeland have at least done and achieved the right steps on the site. They played out Pillars control. They pushed everybody back inside of lobby, and they've even managed to bait out some powerful utility. While there was a missed C4 by Victoria, it still overall was a Homeland round. It just depends on whether or not they can not only manage to run that back, but if they can do that after losing these past 5 rounds where it looks like they haven't been able to do much beyond those initial steps.
I wonder actually with that smoke, because you know the new smoke sound, right? I wonder if that smooth smoke sound masked her going for the disable, actually.
You know what? I've actually never thought about that. It might
Yeah.
have. She did place it right at that door. So
Yeah, she placed it
no,
right at the door, and then
could've.
she started disabling. So I wonder if that masked the sound, so they didn't even know that they were disabling either. So that's actually a big thing. I wonder if that was true or not. But yeah, we'll start this round out. A big first part is destroying the shield and making sure they can do this. But oh my god, almost goes for the kill on the keys. There's a lot of damage. Unfortunately, will not get that kill. And this time, nobody takes any damage this time on that late reinforcement. That Vulcan shield does not damage Monster Girl or Tabby or anybody. And Cavi here has already pushed back the pillar. And this time, this efficient take of Pillars is the big point, so they can get this. It actually was interesting because they did it. They were able to get rid of Cavi. They got the plant down. Unfortunately, still, like you said before, Victoria was huge on that. You know, coming back into sight, getting the kill. And Glean, though, with a shot and a Tex or finish Tex off. And that's a huge shot from the right side of the doorway in through back into blue. Dire is looking to try and destroy this hatch so they can get some angles of people below. Monster Girl, though, from above, though, jumps down the hatch from Attic, gets a kill. And my god, Cavi Monster Girl finish off the half. 6-0 for Mirage.
Benny, I want to be completely honest with you. I have no idea what just happened.
Oh, what happened was? So
I
Cavi's on...
I looked down to write something in my notes.
Yep.
And then the round was over.
Yeah, Monster Girl with the Attic drop, and Cavi as the, you know, the shield in Pillars, the wall that stops everybody.
Well, I did say that the first time they attacked it looked the strongest, or that was their strongest attacking round. That probably looked the weakest.
Yeah, Mirage was able to adapt, and they thought, "Hey, we're gonna play aggressive once again, and we're gonna play a way you wouldn't even expect. We're gonna have someone, one of our women's inside of Attic drop down and take a fight with all of you."
Well, I mean, hey, they've demonstrated the importance of droning, even if the spot you're thinking about droning is all the way across the map, at least vertically. Mirage have attained a flawless half. This is exactly what happened in Homeland's first ever CCSW map against Disrupt. They went up 6-0, I do believe. Might have been 5-1, actually. But either way, it was either damn near flawless or flawless for their half. And if Homeland are not capable of winning the next 6 rounds in a row, they could begin and end their CCSW career trying to claw back from a flawless half from the other team. They are on defense, so it's not out of the realm of possibility just yet. And it's a similar setup to Mirage as well, which on the one hand, they've seen how it works. They might have seen the flaws in that strategy, and they're able to counteract those. But also remember, this was the same setup that Homeland on the attack struggled to clear time and time again. If Mirage were able to read into the setup, which is incredibly similar to what they were doing on their defenses, they could bypass this extremely quickly. Also, especially considering they look leagues better on this map than they did last week when they lost it to SH. They have made so many improvements, not, well, on the defense, but at least on the attack seemingly as well, if depending on how this plays out.
I think interesting part was the fact that on this attack for Homeland, they had an issue with like dealing with those mute jammers, and yet they didn't really bring in mute jammers. So they should have no problem opening up these walls, whether it be Attic, whether it be games, which is a much different story for Mirage. So they should have no problem opening these things up and making their way through. I wonder if they're even going to tackle that extension. Like I said before, they look leagues better than they did last time. Are they going to actually tackle this extension and try and dismantle it? It looks like they've already destroyed from below, so they can already destroy that mute jammer if there was one, but there isn't one opened up. So Victory goes to work. Victoria will open up the game's wall, and they have a sight line into sight. And whether or not they can find any kills here, someone's playing bullet. It's Kizo playing behind the Vulcan Shield inside trophy. Is Victoria going to challenge this, because this is a very difficult angle to challenge for Glean too. Glean's also picking up, waiting for a chance. Maybe someone's peeking through those footholes. They're gonna destroy one of. They're gonna get rid of those laser gates, push through, maybe get rid of that shield. As Kiesel with that shotgun using TCSG, trying to find a good shot, but never mind. Kiesel backs off, and so far so good for Mirage.
And Keisho cleared off. Bedroom wall opened as well, making Keisho's position that she's now rotated to a little bit more uncomfortable. Solid attack from Mirage so far. They just now have to push in and land and execute. As they're knocking at the door, they just actually have to turn the knob and open it at this point. Minute 10 left. Galeen playing just on the opposite side of the wall from Keisho. The drone's spotted, so they know that Goyo's playing hard left. And Homeland might not have known that they were playing so aggressively in Attic. That's where 2 of the kills come from, though the 3rd comes from Wolf. Right as Keisho swings, Galeen takes her down. It's a 2v4. Homeland CCSW hopes on the line. Surely don't go out in a 7-0. Try and put up a fight. Snow is all alone in a 1v4 with the bomb going down. Just 45 seconds left. Able to spot the one, but a whiff bag as well. A 7-0 on the final map of Oregon to send Homeland Nova out of the losers bracket, as they are the first team eliminated from CCSW North America.
Unfortunate for the side of Homeland, but I still think they were able to adapt. They improved though over the rounds. Unfortunate though, it seemed like Mirage had a better grasp on their gun.